because he tweeted out the version of our song with piano only this morning. And I said,
classic.
wow, what a perfect opportunity for me to jump in, because we were discussing possibly having a summer version of the song this morning, like a Beach Boys.
Oh, wow.
Little summer vibe.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What an idea.
Picked for when we think the calendar flips to summer.
It's May 18th.
Here.
God, that's such a good idea.
May 18th.
To season out Happer and Schaefer.
Then at Christmas, we do a Christmas.
Yeah, you
Happer
do a
and
Christmas.
Schaefer.
That's
Some
so
jingle
good.
More of
bells.
a carol sound.
What if for Halloween you did like a
spooky Happer and Schaefer?
Happer and Schaefer?
If you could do it where you get the voice sounds like Monster Mash.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, is there any other Halloween song that
Ian
people
can
really
definitely do it. I'm quite sure of it.
Then
it's just does he want to?
Then
Ian was already asking if Lauren will need her own.
Yeah, right.
It wouldn't be Happer and Schaefer. It'd be Schaefer and Michelson, or Michelson and Schaefer.
Lauren and Schaefer, something.
Wow, you mix it up.
Yeah.
For each,
Ian was
we
asking.
need to get snow. We need to get a snow
means I
theme
need to do-
song
that
and a
means I-
solder theme song. It's Mike and Mike.
That means I need to do a promo shoot when they do the. Now you're watching KETV News Watch 7 with, and then it's me sitting there.
Yes, all of these.
Oh
things.
man, that sounds
I
awful.
proposed a trade to Andy Kennedy to get me and Lauren to switch spots, and he was all for it. So,
Oh wait, you said that?
Why
yeah.
are you honing in on this idea?
when did
I
you
thought
do this
I
idea?
thought originally you guys talked to me about a trade for me and Lauren.
No,
Oh, okay. That's what you guys told me one time.
it was Happer.
No, the
wanted
bit
to
is
do
Happer
the
does stuff.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's a good bit. I was
I drove a dump truck.
First, he's stealing our guests. Now he's trying to take your spot.
stealing your guest.
Yeah,
Your guest did not
we have them always
exist.
one day before you did.
Your guest did not exist. Our show started at the same time.
Yeah, right. We had him one day before you did.
I believe our show starts at 6. I
This
believe
is
Mr. Gilmore
this is
accomplished that feat no more than an hour ago.
This is basically like when two twins are born, but one of them's born like 6 minutes before, and they're
My
like,
nephews-
I'm the older one.
But you hold it over their heads for life.
They
Exactly.
squabble over this, but Ryan always wins because he was 5 minutes older than Kate.
I'm older. Yeah, but I'm taller.
And that's what it was.
And that's when you get your head chopped off.
That's right.
What?
It happens.
You ever seen Speed?
Clearly
No.
has.
Put it on the list.
Yep.
Yeah, we're having a
Actually, Speed belongs on the
Yeah,
list. Yeah,
it
but
really
Speed
does.
would be a good one.
Speed
on
would
that.
I would
be
take Terminator off for Speed, or T2. T2 is I would take that off for Speed. That was probably the weakest movie on the list for me, but it was number 10.
Yeah.
For you.
put Speed in.
I'm also not a Terminator.
I know
person, so I
the
think-
plot of Speed, which is good for me heading into.
What
a
do you know
movie.
about Speed, Matt?
I know
question.
that they're on a bus and there's a bomb on the bus, and if the bus gets lower than 50 miles an hour, the bomb is going to go off, and so they have to keep the bus going at over 50 miles an hour as long as possible.
Mhm.
And there is a jump in speed.
How do you think it ends?
They probably defuse the bomb, or they probably all jump off of the bus, and they're caught, and then the bus kind of blows up in the distance or something of that nature.
Maybe.
Or maybe they get maybe it's a movie over like the 2 hours, each individual, like one person gets off the bus at a time. Like it's a mission to get each and then so it's like different acts and different scenes.
Maybe some
Gets
people
one-
have some decisions to make. who are on
Exactly.
the
Yeah,
bus.
probably. There's probably an old lady being like, man, screw you all. Like, I don't care. You got to die. If you got to die for us all, you should die. There's probably someone like that.
Who
Probably
do you think's driving the bus?
Sandra Bullock.
That's right. Wildcat.
Is
can
it
see
a
that.
is it a cruise movie?
No, it's Keanu.
Oh, Keanu Reeves. Okay, very good. Very good.
Of the
Same
Ironically,
idea.
Speed 2 is called Cruise Control.
Oh, okay. Funny enough. All right. Isn't that on a cruise? It's on a ship,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, of the 10 movies that you've been informed about, what was the one that seemed most appealing?
Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, is that
But-
Oh,
because
wow,
I
you haven't
tweeted
seen that?
it's-
No.
He had been flirting with the idea of clicking play on Reservoir Dogs,
Okay.
so
Oh,
I was,
yeah, I
I
thought
was
you had
hoping to
watched
just
it.
kind of push him.
No, I haven't.
I-
I
It's
haven't.
so easy. It's like a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is tremendous.
Yeah.
It's the one that I think it's probably my favorite off of that. It's maybe not the best movie, but it's my favorite. It's the one I most want to watch.
Mhm.
It's a Klosterman thing. Yeah, Klosterman talks about Reservoir Dogs in the
Oh,
book.
because he probably wrote about Tarantino.
He wrote about Tarantino
You've seen
versus
Pulp Fiction, I assume already.
No, I haven't.
And
Okay,
that
watch
wasn't
that
on
one.
the list?
Watch
I
that
didn't
one
know
first.
it. I assumed he had.
Oh,
Definitely watch that one first.
Man,
Yeah.
So
Those are amazing.
because what's the
I almost feel like you have to watch Pulp Fiction to almost even get like some of the other Tarantino movies.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I have no opinion.
I don't know how you would do with a movie that isn't linear. That's sort of,
Okay. I don't watch a lot of movies, but I'm not a dumbass. I can watch a non-linear movie.
This
That's
isn't
a
that
little
you're
ridiculous.
dumbass, except that it's like this movie is in particular special.
No, I know how non-linear movies work. I understand the
alright.
concept of starting at the end and going back to the beginning.
That is not
That's
what it
not
does.
what happens.
Okay, what does it do?
Will you tell me? You know how it works.
Well, I just described a non-linear movie.
You described one type of
Matt, you
nonlinear.
got triggered for no reason. It's okay.
I didn't.
You
get
always
triggered
assume that I'm talking down to you.
there. That was kind of talking down to me.
Not
I don't know if you.
He was going to
I don't-
explain why it was going to be a little bit difficult.
I mean, Josh just said yesterday that he doesn't know if my life experiences would allow me to connect to Denzel well enough.
Well,
You gotta live.
That's
You gotta live a life.
I actually don't know that that's an erroneous thought for someone to have.
You gotta have loved and lost. You gotta.
I've loved and I've lost.
Okay.
That was a tough first breakup in high school. That sucked.
Some of it is that
we're all very white.
you miss like the core. Yeah,
That's
right.
also part
Well,
of it.
that is probably the biggest experience for enjoying Denzel. Is
I
being
do.
white.
I do.
I mean, if we're honest, you have like this entire 15-year stretch where those movies are largely just,
Yes, I'm very white. I'm also
We
very-
all be white.
I'm also, I'm also very Latin as well.
That's
Grew up
right.
with a lot of Latin people. all the
arguably you're the
time.
least white person in this room.
Yeah, but also arguably,
Not
you're
arguably.
the most
There's
white
no-
person
there's-
in this
No,
room.
no. There's no argument. I grew up with a lot of immigrants and a lot of people who escaped countries and who,
Yeah, but you also
Did
grew
not
with the
grow up
bean,
here.
and I think that kind of brings it back.
Yes.
Once again, you could argue that you're the least white person in this room.
I'm
but I
not
could
arguing anything about
I could
this.
argue that you're the most white person in this room.
I think there's a little bit of both to be had.
Yeah.
I don't agree or disagree with that statement.
a
Interesting.
hodgepodge, if you would.
Well, yeah, I think I grew up on two.
I don't think
sides
you'd
of
like
the
to hear
spectrum.
my argument. And
No, I
won't-
grew up in a very
I won't make
silver.
it.
I grew up in a very white suburb on the northwest side of Chicago, going to private Catholic school, playing hockey.
That's the
around
genesis of it.
around people with a lot of money, and so on and so forth. You can continue to go on the line. That is all true. It's also very true that I spent 3 hours a day, 7 days a week with a woman who grew up in Cuba and who had to escape communism and who didn't know how to speak English for 50 years and had to learn a different language, could communicate with her and those people, and ate a lot of different
Some of this,
and
some of that.
endured a lot of different
Hodgepodge.
cultures.
Mhm.
Hodgepodge.
Mr. Podge.
I'm both super white and I speak really good Spanish.
Anyways,
There you go.
Pulp Fiction, not a linear movie. I think you would really like it. I truly think you would really like.
I think
Pulp
I would like all of these movies.
Fiction.
I
don't know if you would like all of them.
Silence
I
of the
gotta go back
Lambs.
to the list.
Silence of the
It's a
Lambs.
good list. Josh did well.
Thank you.
Nice list, Josh.
Can't wait for his next top 10
I thought
list
you would
next
say
week.
Jurassic Park would be the one that you would most likely be in.
He didn't seem game for it, guys.
No,
Yeah.
this is a whole.
Have you seen
Have
Twister?
you not heard about this?
You're not a dinosaur guy?
I watched 25 minutes of it and I didn't really enjoy
Okay.
it.
I didn't know if you had any experience with it. It could still
No,
be
no,
on
no.
the list.
It's actually probably the biggest argument we've gotten into on the show was my giving up on Jurassic Park.
Have you seen Twister?
No, but I hear a little birdie's told me that they're the same movie. That's just what's going around in the street.
Some would say that.
Same thing with brown and yellow being
Have
the
you
same
seen
color.
Independence? Day?
39 is 40.
39 is 40.
Thank you. 29 is
It
30.
is
Third,
not.
20, yeah.
So
29
not
is 30.
accept-
29 is always
29
been
is
30.
30. If
Yeah.
a guy is a 39% three-point shooter, I'm going to say he shoots 40% from the three-point line.
That's right, Matt.
If a guy shoots 29%, I'm going to say he shoots 30. If a guy averages 29
Nah,
points a
see, if it's 29%
Oh,
from three,
it
because you're
depends.
trying to round it down at that point because you're trying to put off the pictures that they suck.
well,
They're shooting 29% from three. You're
great
actually
point.
like, they're shooting like
he's
29.
barely over 25%.
28.7% from
That's
three.
a great
Yeah.
point. But if they average 29 points per game, 30 points per game, he's averaging 30.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I reject it. You have the number.
I couldn't
Respect
agree
the
more.
number.
Creighton basketball beat Nebraska by
30.
30 that one year.
Hasn't been for a while.
That's true. But that one time, it was true. even though it was 29 according to the
And-
scoreboard.
and-
Lately,
and-
they've been shooting either 29 or 30% when playing. Nebraska.
And when Nebraska basketball beats Creighton next year by 19, Mike and I will say they beat them by 20.
No, they beat them.
I will
the
say they
exact
won by
same thing
19.
happened this year. They beat them by
Yeah.
29 this year.
Beat them by 30.
Absolutely.
they won by 29.
They won by 30. Wow.
You're approximate.
You're shortchanging yourself.
I know. Don't
I'm not shortchanging
By the way,
anything.
you are so true.
I believe in accuracy.
on the 29% for the three. You definitely do.
You gotta go down.
You definitely do go down.
You're trying to paint the image that they suck.
You really
when-
don't want to talk about someone shooting 29%.
Right.
Ever.
But when they,
Except for when you talk about how bad they are.
but
Yeah.
49,
He's a 29% free throw shooter.
He's made 0% of his free throws.
49% is 50%.
The
Definitely.
Wesley Rosa, who's definitely going to get minutes, horrendous free throw shooter.
Oh, really?
I can't imagine why.
It's bad. Bad.
9.7 rebounds per game is 10 rebounds per game.
No,
Yes.
it's
Look at him.
9.7.
He's averaging 8 and 10. That's a heck of a player.
There you go.
Here's the list: Heat, Godfather 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, 7, Silence of the Lambs, Reservoir Dogs, Memento, Sixth Sense, Terminator 2.
I sign off on every one of those movies except Terminator 2, and it's fine. I don't not sign off on it.
Yeah.
I just like those other ones a lot more.
That would probably take me 2 years to get through all of that.
Well, yeah.
If I was
30
picking
minutes
for
a
you,
clip.
it would be Reservoir Dogs, and then weirdly we would jump to Sixth Sense because I think culturally that has value.
sure.
Just that one line.
Kind of. I actually think it's a legitimately good movie.
There you go.
I think I'm going to watch Reservoir Dogs on Sunday.
Whoa.
I
You
can
should
do
try to
that.
watch it in one sitting.
That's why I'm going to knock it out first. I'm just going to do it on Sunday.
If you can't do that,
God,
then
it's
I
so
have
good.
serious doubts as to your ability to watch movies at all.
Now, are you saying I get no pauses? Do I get no pauses or 10-second
What do you mean?
rewinds?
I think you should try as hard as you can to watch it all the way through with no pauses and no getting up.
And no phone.
See, here's the thing. You can ask Josh Peters. We went to Project Hail Mary, which is a 2.5-hour movie.
Did you sit?
And I sat down and I did not look at my phone once.
Yeah, you
And I
went to a
didn't-
movie.
I
It
went
was
to a movie.
yeah.
You went
If
to a
I'm
theater. It
sitting
was
down,
polite.
I'm just going to tell you right now, if I'm sitting down on my couch in the comfort of my own home, it's going to be very difficult for me at no point to look at my phone.
We'll just put it in a different room. Lock it in a
I
lock
just don't.
box.
I'm going
You want me to buy one of those lock boxes for you?
Lock
No,
box.
I actually was gifted one of those things from a comedy show where you put the phone into
Whoa.
a sleeve. Yeah.
Gifted one?
Gary gifted it to me. He went to the Kevin Hart
Good bit.
comedy
Yeah.
show, and
Wouldn't want that getting out.
yeah, and he was like, "I got you a gift," and I was really excited, like because I thought he got me a shirt or something like that or anything. And he just handed me the thing that you lock your phone in,
Yeah,
and I'm
put
like,
your phone in there.
and I'm like, I will never use this ever, and I think it's in my car right now,
No, you won't use it.
ever.
A good place for it
or-
to be, you could put it in your car and then start your car and then you're driving safe.
No, I don't text and drive.
I
I'm
don't
not for it.
believe that.
Why? Why not? I'm a very safe driver.
No, I believe that you're a safe driver. I do not believe in your ability to put down your phone.
I'm not texting and driving.
You're scrolling and driving.
No, I'm not even scrolling and driving.
What are you doing in driving?
You're bubble popping
I'm
and driving?
looking at my GPS, and then I'm also I do the thumb up to see if I got any notifications.
Okay, so you are texting and
You're
driving.
That's not
Instagram.
texting and
It's
driving.
okay, by the way. It's fine.
No, it's not fine to text and drive.
I
You
bet-
should not text and
No,
drive.
of course you shouldn't. But like, if you did it every once in a while, it's fine. Like, I'm not mad at you for it. But you're lying about it.
I'm not lying. I don't text and drive.
I was texting the two of you while I was driving yesterday.
I was too, honey.
Yeah, same.
Didn't he?
It's
We're
it's a
not.
bad habit.
We are on the radio. We have PSAs that are against texting
Hey,
and driving.
Didn't anyone ever tell you that it's not so much about making the actual mistake? It's about lying about it.
Yeah, you should tell Mike Vrabel about
The
that.
cover up. Oh, we never talked about that.
We never talked about
Don't
it.
worry, we got it covered. We
Thank
are
you.
we are your one-stop shop for
We might
everything
bring it back
Rossini
up
and
tomorrow.
Vrabel.
We will, almost for sure.
It's not like it has to go.
Honestly,
He had some great words.
one of my notes.
great words.
One of my notes here is still bothers me that he blatantly lied about
Yeah.
it. Like that's the here's like
Well, wait,
if
wait,
you
wait.
want to talk
What
about
did
it
he?
now,
What did he lie about? What are you saying? He
it's a
lied about?
laughable. He was like, these are laughable. when he talked about the pictures and the insinuations that he was having an inappropriate relationship with her, he
that's
called
funny.
it laughable.
And
then he had to have
what I
quote
took for
unquote
the press conference yesterday was that he got as close as he possibly could to admitting that it was happening without
it was
it
a
happening.
pathetic word salad
Yeah.
acknowledgement of what happened without actually acknowledging.
But now there was rumors, not rumors, but I had read and heard on this radio station, not like the national people that are on this radio station, not us, but they were like, he didn't answer questions. Apparently he did answer some questions about the situation. So I don't know if he ever.
He
I
said
just saw the statement.
I just
he
saw the
said he
statement
wasn't
too.
going to, and then of course people followed up, and I think he said a couple more.
It'd be
things.
sort of hard to avoid answering questions on this. For the
It was
entirety of-
it was a pathetic word salad in which, yes, he did just basically admit without admitting that he had an inappropriate relationship with. He didn't even acknowledge. He didn't even say her name, which is kind of crazy,
Well, that Shake Shack guy said, keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Say my name.
that I've never seen anybody get stood up for. I've never seen anybody get stood up for and then crap on the person that stood up for them more than Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, she's
a terrible person.
Every year, every single year, there's another Jada Smith quote of her being like, I didn't even want Will to do that.
Yeah,
or I
she's
didn't
awful.
even like, she just
Well established.
like, it's there was another one a week ago where she was like, Will Smith, or she was like, Chris Rock asked me out. And I was like, oh, I'm still with Will. Why do you even admit that the person that literally crapped on you asked you, like she's bragging about?
Do you think Jason Bateman uses Will Smith as his inspiration
Probably.
for all of his roles?
I think
my
that,
muse.
that is
Good one.
that is a great probably because
How
I've never
would Will
seen
Smith feel right now?
I've never and
I've
then
often cited you as the person who made me realize that Jason Bateman is in those situations a lot because you brought it up and I'd never thought about
he
it.
is in a lot of this.
Which is wild because you don't watch anything. So it's quite remarkable that you're the person that
For whatever reason, Bateman is one of my highest hit rate actors. I just see a lot of Bateman films,
Interesting.
It just, I don't know what it is.
Well, you probably never watched Arrested Development beyond
No,
clips.
no, but I
God,
haven't even
what a
seen
show.
I haven't even seen clips of Arrested Development.
Really?
Yeah.
That hasn't made its way to Clipland?
And that's how I'm in Clipland.
That's weird.
I don't want it to go to
Mr.
Clipland.
I don't
Clips.
either. I don't want you to know about it unless
Yeah.
you watch it. Watch
You
it.
have to.
You don't want me to
You
quote
need
it.
to deserve Arrested Development, not
I
stumble
want you to
on
earn it.
Not
I will
start
never earn
talking
it.
about
I
the
will
banana
never.
stand or there's dozens of us or any things like this.
Parks and Rec has made its way to Clipland.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
That's fine. That could stay on Clipland.
That's been a lot
It's a
of
good show, but
yeah.
the clips deserve that.
That Brooklyn
9-9.
Yeah, that's made a couple, like some Sandberg, quotes have made its way there.
Clip down.
Yeah, to Cliptown.
Clip
Bring it
also.
on down to Cliptown.
Nice.
God, I love SNL. Big fan of old SNL. I haven't watched any new SNL or anything like that.
Not even
Josh-
the clips.
Really?
No.
Like, what's old SNL to you?
Good question.
Like
2015.
Lonely Island,
So probably about then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's a little bit before that.
So like 2011.
Yeah.
Like Lazy Sunday.
I don't know Lazy Sunday. I'm not aware of.
Oh yeah, this is when you thought that
Chronic
Justin
Chronicles
Timberlake
of
was an
Narnia.
SNL
Yeah.
performer.
Well, I knew Justin Timberlake, the actor, before I knew Justin Timberlake, the singer.
This is crazy.
It is.
Every day there's a new revelation.
No,
There's-
he told us this one before.
But
Yeah.
you don't know about Lazy Sunday?
I haven't heard that one. No,
So
I'm a
Office
fraud.
spoofed it.
Okay.
The Office spoofed it. Lazy Scranton. You probably know that.
Have you seen
I
The
only
Office?
saw The Office up to 5 seasons, so I never finished The Office.
That's actually more than I would have guessed you've watched.
I've watched. It's funny enough. I actually have seen The Office, and I probably quoted the least.
You've
Out of all
seen
my-
part of The Office.
I've seen 5 of the 8 seasons of The Office.
Are there only 8 seasons?
There is 9. I think.
9.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen 5 of the 9.
So-
So it's slightly over half.
2, because
My-
2 without Michael Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was Michael.
So
I never
5 is all in this scenario?
Yes.
Dumb.
So you have not
Thanks,
seen The
Mike.
Wedding.
No.
Oh, wow.
Well, I do know. Michael, you came.
Mhm.
That's what she said.
No, that's the
That's
other
the-
wedding.
that-
That's
yeah.
that's the later wedding.
Oh.
The Jim and Pam wedding, you missed that.
No, I missed that. Like Jim and Pam haven't had kids yet.
Yeah,
From
Jim and
where
Pam
I'm-
do later have kids.
Yeah.
Scott's Tots. He hasn't seen that.
No, I did get to Scott's Tots.
Okay.
That makes sense. That one
But-
probably
but
made it to Cliptown.
No. I skipped Scott's Tots. Like it was too.
What do you mean you skipped it? You didn't watch the rest of the stuff around it.
No. I got to the episode, and then I was like, I can't watch this.
Did you get
This
the
is
Michael
secondhand
Scott
embarrassment.
Paper Company?
Yeah, where
Okay.
he makes his own company and then they
little
buy
arc
it back,
is like
right?
one of my favorite. Like
Uh-huh.
no one really talks about it, but I love. There was like a 3-episode run
With
that
Pam
I
and
just
Ryan.
loved.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
close personal friend, David Wallace.
Literally, your close personal
Mhm.
friend.
What's like the negotiation? Like where he's like, I think you're the one who
I could keep coming up with company names all day long.
Yeah.
And then he says like paper, and he's like, that's one of them. Paper.
I, for whatever reason, in that show's run, which there's a lot of great episodes, that dumb arc I just love.
It's
Like,
a good one.
Just 3 episodes. It totally does its job.
So you didn't make it to the D'Angelo Vickers arc?
Oh.
No, Will Ferrell has not made its way into the office for me yet.
Don't think he ever will.
No, I don't. I'm not a TV show guy. It's just too much time.
Okay.
It's too much.
You always talk about time as if you don't have it when you have more than anyone in this room.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
prefer to
yeah.
do other things. Like yesterday.
You do be doing stuff.
Like
give you
yesterday.
Which is
that.
normally what
I mean,
happens.
like-
What about like at nighttime though?
I go to bed or I
you
watch
watching sports?
I watch playoff hockey. Like last night, here's my day. After the show, I stayed here. I took a 30-minute nap.
naps.
I then just sat in Josh's office for an hour
He did just sit
and
in
say
my
nothing
office. Yeah.
and just I let Josh
He
do
could
his
have been
job.
sitting at home with 2 episodes of The Office playing.
And I just did it.
So you
I was
took the
just-
nap here at this.
I just sit in that chair and I just kind of
Yeah.
close my eyes and I just knocked out. Because if I go home and take a nap in my bed, that nap is going to turn into a much longer nap than what it needs to be.
Can I ask why you need
Okay.
a nap?
I get tired.
That's as simple as reason as any,
I mean,
Schaefer.
It's hard for me. to
I
argue
get
with you.
tired, and if I have time to just take a quick 30-minute cat nap and then power through, it works every time. So I did that, and then I just decompressed in Josh's office for an hour. I then worked on the Wacky Guest Wednesday intro, and then I went straight to the softball game, watched the softball
So you're
game,
just killing time, so you didn't go home in between softball.
basically.
That's
and then-
really what this was.
And then I watched playoff hockey for the rest of the night with
Okay.
a little bit of basketball. Today, I'm going to go and golf. And then I'll go home and I'll
So will
watch
you
playoff
stay
hockey.
here until you have to go to golf?
No, I gotta go home and do something.
I thought you said you were claiming that you were going to go to the softball game last night.
I did.
Okay.
I went.
You
I left at like the 5th inning, top of the 5th inning. You know, kind of left early, and then I'm going to another softball game on Friday.
Softball.
So
What kind of softball game are you going to on Friday?
the Nebraska softball game. It's at 5:30.
Who are they playing? Rutgers?
No, they played them already.
I think Wisconsin.
No, they played,
They
them,
played them
already,
already.
too.
I have no idea who they're playing. I just know I'm going to it.
Hmm.
So
Name
Nebraska
any-
baseball plays Illinois.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just going to it, and then
You just want to go hang out at the softball game?
I know people who are associated with the team who I'm going out after with.
There you go. There you go.
Nebraska, Iowa.
Iowa?
Oh, nice.
Where will Alvaro Fulgaris be?
At Drake.
No, he went to
Where is he going?
Louisville.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
They're just.
It's the perfect Pat Kelsey roster.
Did you read?
That's
the-
a weird fit with the rest of
It's
that, right?
amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how bad they are.
Did you read that they are like in debt at the athletic department? Like they are bleeding money, and yet
Shocking.
they are just spending all of it right now. They're like it's going out of
They got
style.
the Papa Cash.
It's are they the Papa John's school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They got
I did
pizza.
not know that they have pizza.
Mhm.
I still, you know what? If I had
Papa
to
John's
pick
Stadium.
Walmart pizza, chicken fingers, or cookies, probably would take cookies all day in terms of what type of money I want.
So you'd be a BYU Cougar.
I'd be a BYU Cougar.
Is this like one of those BuzzFeed quizzes of like,
Yeah, I don't-
What?
where this started and where it ended, and the fact that these two
That's-
know, I have no idea what any of that meant.
I know
Does-
about chicken. A chicken, Tyson chicken is Arkansas.
Okay.
Oh, I was talking about raising canes in
Or
LSU.
LSU, yeah. Tyson chicken and Walmart. is
Walmart-
Arkansas.
Yeah,
Walmart's
I
Arkansas.
knew Walmart would be Arkansas.
AI would
So
be
what is a cookie? Then?
a cookie is BYU. It's Crumble Cookie. Crumble Cookie owns, and that and the dirty sodas.
I think I've-
Last
Swig.
football season,
Swig.
I think I
BYU
maybe had like
Kalani
one
Satake.
crumble cookie ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're very caloric. They are. They have.
I
Sizable.
mean, I don't care
Yeah,
about that.
they
I
have-
just haven't had the opportunity.
No, but I'm talking about like you get half of your daily calories out of one crumble cookie.
Yeah, we'll
It's
see.
crazy.
About that. You don't know how much
Coach
I
was
can
going to
eat
go
in a day.
to Penn State.
I'm talking about the USDA recommended calories.
I don't
in a
care.
day.
Nobody follows that crap.
You
I
I look
do.
like that if I followed that.
What do you
No.
look? What are you, Michelle Obama?
I mean, first off, the food pyramid
Oh,
was
what
an
am I supposed to
absolute
get up
joke.
and move now,
I'm gonna
man?
tell you right now, one of the biggest lies that we've had in the food pyramid, like you want to have 7 like grains and all that stuff, and like it's just a little ridiculous what they were telling you.
All right,
Food
RFK,
pyramid.
calm down.
I'm just telling you. Just telling you, the food pyramid was a little ridiculous. Yeah. Same time though, yeah, 2,000 calories. I'm currently in a caloric deficit right now. I'm trying to eat my body weight in protein every day.
Your
Trying to-
body weight in protein?
Yeah,
That's a lot of pounds of protein.
Are you a
I'm
tiger?
assuming he means grams,
grams.
but
Trying to
I
have-
wanted him to really mean pounds.
Trying to get 180 to 200 grams of protein a day.
Where'd you get this idea?
It's just through
TikTok.
No, through health. Through health.
Hell,
the
The
guy
health
that eats
channels
raw
on
meat on
TikTok.
TikTok.
No, I didn't
the
get it from
Liver
Liver
King.
King.
Nice.
No, I did not
I
get it
heard
from
he
Liver
is in a
King.
big deficit of a lot of things.
I'm trying to lose weight, man. All right, I'm trying
That's cool.
trying to be healthier.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
We're rooting for you.
My buddy was. I have a friend who he like takes pictures for the softball team. And he took a picture of me yesterday with this high definition camera, and I smiled, and I had just fat face Matt, and I was like, I got to change.
That was it.
I got to get a Bowflex. you
Now,
know?
how is your sandwich meal prepping going?
Oh yeah.
I had a sandwich yesterday, and I did not meal prep it. I woke up in the morning and I made the sandwich.
That seems normal.
Was it even better?
There was no difference. In
That
the
is
taste
a
of the
That's
lie.
not
sandwich.
true.
It was a different.
I've had multiple people reach
That's
out
like
to me.
saying you don't text and drive.
I've had multiple people reach out to me and say Matt is insane for meal prepping his sandwiches.
4 sandwiches. Who are these people?
There's people, man. They listen to the
live
show.
normal
There's
lives.
so many.
Yes.
Just in the last 16 months of working here, there are so many people who just randomly text other hosts to say things about me, and I never see these
I
texts,
do.
and I never hear from these people. Ever.
Sometimes I'll get a text and it's like,
Fair.
you need to listen to Matt's segment right now. And then I go and I listen and I know, what I'm just using this as a vague one because I don't have anything specific that comes to mind. But you rile some people up. That's a good thing.
What was
I got
I saying?
I got a
though?
message that said I wouldn't
next time
eat,
it happens, I will let you know.
I wouldn't eat the Thursday sandwich for $40. Is
What?
what someone said.
It was. Can I tell you this right now? It was delicious. It was
That's a lie.
absolutely delicious.
It
No,
was
it's not.
good.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm worried about your taste buds.
If I meal prep the sandwich and blind taste test, we had the Monday sandwich to the left and the Thursday sandwich to the right. I could not tell the difference between the Monday sandwich and the Thursday sandwich.
There's no
That's a
chance.
concern with your taste buds.
I mean, it's just Swiss cheese, It's just it just tastes the same.
But you know what? Like
The
a
bread would-
refrigerator.
the properties
Yeah.
of all of that food is different Monday and
Is it like
Thursday.
vacuum sealed and
Oh.
frozen?
Well, I push the air out of it.
Okay.
Not a
I
lot
don't
of
think
air
it's
in the
vacuum.
bags.
I don't think it's vacuum.
I
No,
have
it's
the
not.
best mental image of Matt making his sandwich. Just like moving his hand
I'm
around the bag. Just to get
just
all
like
that.
I'm just a little
Around
like
the
I'm
bag.
a little
Oh no, I missed
T-Rex,
this little pocket over here.
and I'm like pushing out the air.
Your Thursday sandwich was not as good as your Monday
It
sandwich.
was great. It was totally fine.
You don't have to defend the Thursday sandwich.
I made
You
the
already ate
sandwich.
it. You lived.
I made the sandwich from scratch yesterday.
To answer your question though, I imagine this person reached out to me because they liked what I said. They said, quote, "I'm growing more concerned for your Thursday sandwich," is one of the best things I've ever heard.
Can
on
I tell
radio.
you right now? I ate the Thursday sandwich, didn't throw up, didn't get sick, nothing bad happened.
I wasn't worried about you getting sick. I'm just worried about the quality of the
Yeah.
sandwich.
I had no problem. The liver sausage tastes great.
Just refrigerated bread for 4 days.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
The
really-
property
yeah.
of the bread would
Yeah.
suck. It'd be dried out.
Mayonnaise. Is it all sauced up?
No. I don't put mayonnaise on the sandwich when they were meal prepping. I put mustard on it though.
Okay, but
There's
same
a little
thing.
No, there's a little bit of difference in the consistency. Any good sandwich maker would know that.
You are not a good sandwich.
I am a great sandwich maker. You know what? I should make. Well, I won't make you sandwiches. That's too much money.
Yeah, you'd probably cover it and slap your mama.
No, I wouldn't cover it and slap your mama. I did put an avocado on one of them though the other day.
That's a
And
good
then meal
concept.
prepped it and waited 3 days?
No.
Could you imagine the
No.
horror?
No, I took the top piece of the bread off, and I cut up a avocado and I put it there, and then I put the bread back on. So
Just
I
think of
didn't-
the quality of sandwiches you could be having if you just
I had
didn't
it
do
yesterday. It was fine. I switched up the cheese though. I went with Colby cheese this time as opposed to Swiss. I have to get more meat though. I ran out of ham, so I got to get more. I got to go back, pick that up. So no sandwiches for the
Sad.
next couple of days.
Oh no.
All right, that's the crossover. Powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays Mac coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt live and rolling here on the 1620 The Zone radio network. Matt McMaster, as always, joined by Josh Odson here on another beautiful Wednesday. Been a great week of weather here in the metro. Going to get a little bit rainy, a little bit cloudy over the next couple of days, but we're taking these fine, almost like summer days. We're really soaking it in, if you will. Get out there on the golf course. Go to a softball game. Go to a baseball game. Enjoy before this really becomes hopefully a regular thing that we're going to endure in the late parts.
Head out to
May.
Tal Anderson tonight.
Yes, Creighton versus Omaha in baseball should be fun. Connie Clausen Field yesterday, record-setting crowd, 2,320. Previously, it was 1,537 people was the record for a game at Connie Clausen Field. It was literally almost a third more than the previous record of people there. It was packed. I was there yesterday, a part of the record crowd. I was standing the entire time. There was a massive, a big part of that crowd that was standing room only. It was a fun crowd though. Very chill, very, good time, loud. People were enjoying the weather. A lot of people out on the berm. There was a lot of intensity behind the dugouts and behind home plate. You got a really good mix of Nebraska to Omaha fans. I think obviously, it's almost as if you could split up the fans into three sections. There was obviously a section of Omaha fans. There was a section of Nebraska fans, and then there were the young girls who were there to see Jordy ball and just rooting on Jordy every time she stepped up to the plate and played at first base yesterday. So awesome crowd yesterday at Connie Clausen Field. Great game. Omaha hits that 3-run home run, ties it up at 4. People are like, oh my God, look at this. The Mavericks staying in and against the number 1 team in the country. But at the end of the day, the depth of arms, obviously, in comparison from Nebraska to Omaha, there's a differential there. And then once Groff came out of the game, Nebraska was able to take advantage of that. And Wiggins stayed in there, and she had to stay in there for a little bit. And I think Omaha and Mike Hurd's team put up a really, really good fight at the end of the day. Just kind of the depth of Nebraska and the power of Nebraska ended up overpowering Omaha. But still, it was those first couple of innings when it was Jensen versus Groff, and it was it was intense and it was competitive. And I don't think there's any reason to think that Omaha isn't going to get to their 4th straight NCAA tournament after seeing the performance they put up yesterday against Nebraska. So fun game. We'll talk about a little bit of that. We'll mainly just talk about the aura of Jordy Frahm. My apologies. I previously called her Ball. It was kind of funny, though. There were some jerseys. I don't know if it was Jordy Fromm's, her AAU jersey or her high school jersey, or I don't know what it was, but there are a lot of little girls who were wearing Jordy Ball jerseys that weren't Nebraska jerseys. They were old school, or throwback Jordy Ball / Frahm jersey.
That's how you know you made it.
That's how you know. When people were, I don't know if it was, I didn't ask, the 8-year-old girls, hey, what Jordy Ball jersey is that? But it definitely wasn't a Nebraska jersey. So that was pretty cool. A ton of aura on her, and a fun game to be at, and a great crowd more than anything over at Connie Clausen Field. And two just really, really good squads between the Mavericks and the Huskers. Also, Nebraska baseball unfortunately fell to Kansas for the second time this season in the midweek. When those two teams are good, and you saw it on social media and you saw it between the fan bases, and they're playing these close, passionate, tough games, there was a lot of clamoring for people on Twitter being like, we want to play a weekend series against Kansas. We would love to see Kansas and Lincoln for 3 games in the non-con schedule, which is, we talk about regional rivalries, right? And one of the downsides of Nebraska moving to the Big Ten is the fact that you can't travel to away games as quickly or as conveniently as you used to, right? I mean, it's some of the closest places in the Big Ten are 5 to 7 hours away, where, back in the Big 8 and Big 12 days, you didn't have to go too far to go and see Nebraska play Ames or go and see them play at a Kansas State or in Lawrence, Kansas, or whatever it might be. So that'd be a very interesting development that maybe next year Will Bolt's team takes on Kansas for a weekend series. But regardless, a unfortunate loss in the midweek for Nebraska in a very closely contested game would have been very big for the RPI, and then taking another step closer to hosting a regional. Maybe Kansas is taking another step closer to the regional. It'd be very interesting to see what happens there. Can you imagine a regional in Lawrence, Kansas between Nebraska and Kansas? That fires some people up. So that were kind of the results in terms of the baseball/softball going on yesterday. We are going to have another Matt's Mock 10 today. The NFL draft is tomorrow. Matt's Mock Draft 3.0, if you will. We will have I'll probably, you know what? I'll give you a full 32-team mock draft tomorrow.
Whoa.
Of the first round. That we will go in depth in the top 10 tomorrow with our 32-team mock, and then we'll fly through 11 to 32. But Peter Schrager's mock draft came out today. Peter Schrager very famously only releases 2 mock drafts before the NFL draft. It's a very big deal when it gets dropped. It got dropped today. Last year, he very famously didn't make a lot of the right picks. He didn't predict what the picks would be, but he actually made what the picks should have been for teams. He had Armand Menbu going to the Vegas Raiders, which is probably what they should have done. And he had the Jets taking Tyler Warren. If they didn't draft Menbu, that's what they should have done. So Schrager provides some pretty good insights. McShay also dropped his 5.0 today. And here's the thing. I don't look at the mock drafts before I make Matt's Mock 10. Okay. And the point of Matt's Mock 10 is I want to give as many different scenarios that could happen to set the scene of what the draft can look like. I had a thought, though, during my mock 10 that I was making it. And then I went to Todd McShay's mock draft, and he had the same out-of-the-box thought. It just happened. We were just both kind of linearly on the same page. So we will discuss what that thought was. And I do want to remind people, I don't know if too many people know about this. The NFL draft is going to be very different this year. And this is kind of a storyline that has gone a little bit under the radar that not a lot of people have discussed about. Teams no longer get 10 minutes to make a pick.
Yes, I read this the other day and I went, oh, really? I didn't know.
Teams now get 8 minutes.
Let's go.
To make a pick, which is...
Bleeper, get off the pot, am I right?
Thank you. By the way, we're not in fantasy football draft season, okay? But I've been invited to be in fantasy football leagues from listeners and whatnot and other people around me ever since moving into this market. And I am a 3-league man, okay? I have a dynasty league with my high school buddies. I have a college, I have a repeat, every new team every year with my college friends. And then I'm always open to a 3rd league. Okay. I'm always around. I'm always having takers for a new, different 3rd league. If your 3rd league has higher than 1 minute on the clock during your draft, I will not be joining it. If it's a minute and a half or 2 minutes, or there's no time to make your picks, I will not be joining that league. Okay.
I don't play the game, but no time limit seems like you're just asking for.
Back in the day, I don't know if it's as common as it used to be. Back in the day, though, that was the thing. Like back in the day, before fantasy football got really, really mainstream, before there became like a whole cottage industry of fantasy football from the perspective of, there are literally writers and journalists and podcasters and broadcasters who are fully just, enveloped in fantasy football, before all that came to be and there became social standards for what fantasy football is, yeah, there used to be drafts where you had no time limit, which were absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, this draft, my mock draft, I'll be giving it to you. The first 10 picks, what could happen. We'll also talk about Emmett Johnson. Where is he going in some mock drafts? Where are other Nebraska products going in mock drafts? What happens if Nebraska only has one draft pick this year? And what would be the third year of Matt Rhule's team? What would that communicate about Nebraska football? What would it communicate about player development? Do we give Matt Rhule a pass considering the fact that he didn't recruit Emmett Johnson? He didn't recruit Deshaun Singleton. He did recruit Sierra Wright. That's his guy. Sierra Wright is a guy that he brought in. So we'll discuss about that. We'll also just talk about what Matt Rhule said yesterday. He went on Herd at Sports Live with Ravi Lula and Damon Benning and had a very long, wide-ranging conversation with those two. Credit to them in the interview that they gave. We'll talk about some of the things that Rhule said, in particular about money and just kind of his takes on the NIL landscape and the college sports landscape, the transfer portal landscape. I know that was a big deal heading into the transfer portal cycle of, Matt Rhule actively saying at press conferences, hey, we need more money. We need to be able to compete. It's not necessarily about being the team with the most money, but it's also about being able to compete and be in that range against teams with the most money. I don't know if he changed his tune because he's said both things. He said before some of the things he said yesterday to Damon and Ravi. He said some of those things before. He's also said some more realistic things about the money that they're spending. He said both things, and I don't think saying both things are contradicting each other, in my opinion. I think you can say, hey, we want to be in the range. We need to be in the range where we're competitive. But I think he also can say, hey, why not? Why can't we be first? Why can't we be on the cutting edge? Why can't we be on the cutting room floor? Why can't we be at the top? And, you and I, Josh, had a fun conversation off air, and I hope we'll have that conversation. We'll develop on that conversation here on air about what is realistic for Nebraska in terms of spending money and what does Matt Rhule have to say or what should he say? Mm-hmm. And I think there's a contrast between that. I think there's a contrast between what is real and what is his job. And you could say, well, he's being unrealistic. And the counter might be, hey, he's doing his job. And so we'll get into that. And hopefully we'll have some more people join in on that conversation. If you want to be one of those people to join in on the conversation, 402-951-1620 is the number to reach us on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. You can also text us at 402-951-1620. And don't forget to email us on the Equitable Bank Zone, the Equitable Bank inbox, Equitable Bank. They take banking personally. I mixed that up with the Zone Twitter feed, which is powered by Liquid Trucking. I don't know if Pesky Blues here is in the chat, our guy from Liquid Trucking. He always likes us when we talk about NHL hockey. We had another overtime game yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Moser with a nice little toe the line, little snap toey, right where Mama hides the peanut butter to get the Tampa Bay Lightning their first win of their series between the Montreal Canadiens. 2 games between those teams, 2 overtime victories, 1 for the Canadiens and 1 for the Lightning. So they'll head to Montreal. We had a little bit of action in the NBA yesterday. I watched that Lakers Rockets game. I don't give a damn. 9:30 tip is too late.
Really?
It's too late. I know Josh time. I know Josh time's 10:30. I'm aware what Josh time's 10:30 to 12, right? So that fits right into the.
It's a real peak of Josh time.
Yeah.
There's some pre and post, but yeah.
I know I'm 24. I was dozing off in the fourth quarter between the Rockets and the Lakers.
I didn't have much Josh time last night.
Why?
Josh time just really consisted of me sleeping on the couch.
Good for you. A good couch nap is never something you seek out, but when it happens, are you unhappy about it?
Oh, no.
I never actively go, nap time, to the couch. I go to my office chair. But I'm never in the confines of my own home and I go, hey, I'm going to sleep on the couch for my nap. I don't really do that. I go to my bed. But there are moments where it's been a long day and you just find yourself dozing off on the couch. And I feel like that nap, poll question, does the couch nap hit harder than the bed nap? I think the couch nap hits harder. There's just something about doing something that you shouldn't be doing in that place.
I think the unplanned versus the planned is
planned nap. I'm going to be real with you. There's a lot of pressure when you take a planned nap.
Yeah.
Because a planned nap means that I got to get out of here at this time.
Mm-hmm.
An unplanned nap just, it's spontaneous. It just, happens. As well, okay. It just no strings attached. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good time.
How long is it going to be? Is it going to be 10 minutes? Is it going to be 4 hours?
It's going to be exactly. It just occurs. There's nothing better than that. You got to be spontaneous in life. You can't just have a plan.
Yes.
You got to let things flow. You got to let things go. You got to, you know what? You got to live a little dangerously.
Mm-hmm.
And the couch nap is pretty dangerous. That's another full question. So we'll talk about not the couch nap. We'll talk about Matt Rhule, money, and how they're spending it. We'll talk about the differences, a little bit of the differences maybe between high school recruiting and transfer portal recruiting. Robin Washut had some great reporting yesterday on the current the potential of new eligibility rules in college sports. This has kind of been a thing that's been developing for a little bit. We saw this a little bit in the transfer portal last year in college basketball, but it seems like this time it's more likely to come to fruition with the 5 years to play, or 5 years to play 5 seasons. That is the potential new rule that we are angling towards in college sports, to it being enacted starting next season, in which there would be athletes who played 4 seasons in 4 years who would then be grandfathered in and eligible to come back and play another season of college sports. 2 of those players are associated with Nebraska in Kendall Blue and Jamarcus Lawrence. Robin reached out to Jamarcus Lawrence yesterday, and through his great reporting on Husker Online and On3, basically Lawrence said, look, if I get my 5th year of eligibility, I am coming back. I will be back at Nebraska. I will be playing basketball at Nebraska. Now, Fred Hoiberg did communicate to Lawrence, look, we got 3 scholarships left. We are going to recruit and we are going to add to this roster as if you are not going to be here. We are not going to just assume this is going to happen. So there might be a possibility where, sorry, J-Law, we don't have a spot for you, in which Jamarcus and Kendall did both enter the transfer portal yesterday. So their options are open. Jamarcus could be playing next season if the eligibility rules are grandfathered in. And then on top of that, could be playing for a different team if Nebraska fills up the roster before we figure all that out. If they don't, and it's of my opinion, they should keep one open for him just in case. I don't think there's anything wrong in adding 2 more guys, but I think you just roll the 14 scholarships until you figure out what is going to happen. Because re-adding, essentially, which would be funny if in the career of Jamarcus Lawrence, it happens twice, where he leaves or you think he's not going to be there, and then he ends up coming back, which just, goes to show you the state of college sports at this point. But I mean, if he were to come back and be on this roster, it would be a big deal, not just from an on the court perspective, but also the off the court perspective as well. So we got a great show for you today. Mike Vrabel made a statement. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Like we said, we'll talk about some baseball. We'll talk about some softball. We'll go ahead and definitely touch on Matt Rhule, college football, some college basketball. But coming up next here on the show, John Walker of the Omaha World Herald will join us to talk everything about LeBron James to the Creighton Blue Jays on a Wacky Guest Wednesday here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Great show ahead of you today. Salt and Pepper is here. It's going to be awesome here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
It is Matt Live rolling here on 1620 The Zone. We are joined by the beat writer for the Creighton Blue Jays. I almost mixed up two schools there, but it's John Walker from the Omaha World Herald joining us here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Whiskey, how are you, my man?
What's up, man? I'm chilling. I was on After Hours with Jimmy last night, and I was just like, it's been a lot more of a trickle this week compared to the outpour we had a week ago. So that has been a little more enjoyable, a little less chaotic. So I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm good. I actually listened to your interview yesterday on After Hours with Jimmy Allen. I actually have a question for you stemming from that interview. It was a very good interview between very good media members here in Omaha. So we'll get into that in a bit. But before we get into the Creighton Blue Jays, are you basking in the glory of your one and only King James after he's led the Lakers to a 2-0 lead against the Houston Rockets? Are you basking? Are you eating grapes on top of LeBron James Hill right now, seeing your glorious king at the age of 41 play 39 minutes?
Of course. I mean, what else did you expect, No, I remember watching the bubble run in 2020 and thinking like, man, I have to appreciate this because I don't know how many more postseason runs LeBron has.
Sure.
And I'm not saying the Lakers are about to go win the finals. I'm not even saying the Lakers get past the second round. But to just see LeBron on this stage doing what he does and has done for so long, it's like, man, we got to savor a postseason run because I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a non-zero chance that this is it. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, look, if Luke Kennard continues to play with the confidence that he has, and I don't know how many more 25-point games you're going to get out of Marcus Smart, who was just absolutely incredible from the field. But Kennard looks good, LeBron looks good, and then you're just kind of holding off and hoping that one of the Reeves or Luka gets back. Pretty good development. I mean, obviously, it's a terrible development for the league, but if you're just a fan looking at the outlook for the Lakers, like Victor Wembanyama, who knows when he's going to come back? I mean, he got knocked out yesterday. I mean, he was out on the floor. Yeah. And now he's in concussion protocol. And he's being diagnosed with a concussion. And now the protocol, was pretty rigorous for the NBA to get back into play. And, Portland yesterday stealing one on the road from the San Antonio Spurs. You could be looking at a path where if the Lakers could get back, get into the Western Conference Finals, that they don't have to necessarily play the Spurs if they're able to take down the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's all barring the fact that they end up winning 4 games against the Houston Rockets. So it would be quite remarkable if a 41-year-old LeBron James somehow makes a deep run with this battered and bruised LA Lakers team. Let's get into, though, what everyone wants to talk about. The Creighton Blue Jays. You had a great article over on Omaha.com, the Omaha World Herald. You're the beat reporter for the Creighton men's basketball team. Also, writing for the Creighton volleyball team as well. We want to give you credits there. And you not often, but sometimes do your own food reviews as well. So we need to give credit where credit is due. You wrote this great article about the true point guard position on this Creighton men's basketball team, and essentially where's it going to be filled. And you kind of laid out the case for Austin Swartz and Wes Enos and Davis and Edwards. Obviously Enos, Davis, and Edwards all coming from the transfer portal, and Swartz returning from last year's team to this year's team. What is kind of the update there on who will be this true point guard position for the Blue Jays? And what's the update with UCLA transfer Sky Clark, who visited last Thursday? Is there any movement on there? I will give you the floor to lay it all out for us.
Let's take it one by one.
All
if
right.
you want the answer to the first question, I guess you got to go to Omaha.com. I'm kidding.
Whoa!
But no, I wrote this thing essentially breaking down how all of the pieces that Creighton has acquired this offseason fit in to what they returned, and take a step back, the bigger picture as it pertains to the overall roster. And that started with the rim protection, which we knew was like probably priority number one. That needed to get taken care of, and the Jays went and took care of that with one of the Big East best shot blockers from this past season with Providence transfer, Oswin Arunze. And the top half of that story essentially mentioned that, you know, if like both of the centers, Oswin and Wesley Rosa, the JUCO product, they can be important in one way or another, but it all starts, in my mind, with Oswin Arunze being the player that Creighton brought him here to be. And to do that, Matt, he has to stay on the court. What good is a rim protector if he's on the bench?
Yeah.
Oswin led the Big East in fouls this past season, and so that limited his availability in circumstances. And you just can't have that, obviously. So he's going to have to learn verticality without fouling. And then behind him, Wesley Rosa is going to have to adjust to this level from JUCO very quickly. Unless, of course, Creighton goes and adds another center with one of the three final roster spots, which I'm sure we'll get to in a little bit. So anyway, then we get halfway through that story, and yes, it talks about it kind of profiles all of the guards that are currently on the roster, because none of them are true initiators. Like BJ Davis is a hell of a playmaker, and he has a pretty good assist rate if you look in that story, but he has not been the initiator in an offense. And that was Miles Bird 2 years ago. Then this year, Reese Dixon Waters came back and Miles Bird came back, shifted BJ Davis to the bench, and he still thrived in a reserve role, if you will. And yeah, so he's shown tendencies, right? But he just hasn't been in that role. Wes Enos has not been in that role. Like, he was a playmaker at Division II a little bit, but he did not, and he was obviously a playmaker for South Florida this past season, but he's a sharpshooter. He's a marksman. He's really good when he gets to freely hunt his shot. He can play make, but again, he has not been the primary initiator. And the same goes for Austin Swartz and Caden Edwards. So yeah, really, like, nothing's changed on the point guard front, unless the Jays add a point guard with one of the final three spots, which they very well could. Then, you know, those are kind of the options, and they'll have to see who emerges from that over the summer. If I had to guess right now, it'd be BJ Davis or Matt.
Okay.
Or Matt.
Okay.
The really interesting thing also mentioned in that story, some people forget that in this trove of talented guards that Creighton now has, there's also incoming freshman Catrell Harmon, who is a natural initiator, who is a natural playmaker. He's going to have to adjust to going from high school to the Big East, right? Sure. But he, I think, is going to have a pretty sizable role next year. Maybe that's behind Davis. Maybe it looks different at the end of the year than it does at the beginning of the year. Who knows, sitting here on on April 22nd, what's going to happen by next March. But I think Catrell Harmon could be part of the answer at point guard. If one of the four emerges as the primary playmaker, or if Creighton brings in another point guard, depending on who that might be, Catrell Harmon could end up having a pretty sizable role as a freshman. To answer your second question.
Okay, there it is. There it is. And go ahead. No, go ahead. All you.
To answer your second question about Sky Clark, I'm writing a mailbag as soon as we hop off of here, and somebody asked me on Twitter earlier this week how Sky's visit went. And let me just preface it on here the same way that I'll preface it in the mailbag. Has anybody really ever asked somebody how a visit went and they said it was terrible?
Great point.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, of course you're going to say, how did the visit? And this isn't just for Creighton. This isn't for one team in particular. This is for every team across the country. Like, hey, how'd the visit go? It went well. Okay, yeah, of course it did, right?
Yeah.
So, yes. Anyways, the bigger thing that looms with Sky is his eligibility, and obviously we'll see what ends up happening there. But he's in the appeal process for a 5th year. Only played in 14 games his freshman season at Illinois, and then left the team, if I remember correctly, for a good chunk of the season, or stepped away from the team to deal with a personal matter. And yeah, so he obviously didn't play that full season, but he did still play enough games where it wouldn't technically count as even like a medical red shirt or anything. So it's really tricky. But we'll see. Obviously, Creighton is pursuing the former UCLA standout. He and his brother, Zakiah, Easy Clark, were on campus right before the weekend. So, yes, even after all of the guard activity last week, Creighton still hosted the Clarks on campus on Friday. So, yeah, I very much say that they are still pursuing one of, if not both of those guys.
Sky Clark very famously on the Mount Verde team before the Mount Verde team. Everyone always talks about the Derek Queen, Liam McNeely, Cooper Flagg team, but he was actually on the year beforehand, and that team had Malik Renew and also had Derek Queen on it, stuff like that. It'd be very interesting to get a guy like that here on the roster for the Creighton men's basketball team. All right, so yesterday you were talking to Jimmy Allen on After Hours, and I was able to catch some of it on the radio, and you were talking about something that I want our listeners to hear. And that is, you said it's imminent, in your opinion. And even though you don't want it to happen, we're naive. This is what you said. You said we're naive to not talk about the expansion of the Big East. Break it down for me. Why does the Big East need to expand? Why would it be good for the conference? And then let's talk about some of the teams that could be there, because the teams that you guys were talking about were very interesting. There were 2 that immediately came to my mind, but you brought up one that I was like, whoa, I didn't even think of that. And I think that team, we'll get to in a bit, would really elevate the conference. But let's start with the bare bones. Why does the Big East in the future need to add teams and need to expand, in your opinion?
Yeah, and again, I don't even want the Big East to expand. I'm a big fan, as I know a lot of people around the league are, of like, and I'm not saying that as if I talk to somebody around the league office, just from, having a finger on the pulse over the past 3 years covering the Big East. Like, people are very much a fan of the traditionalism that comes with the Big East having 11 teams and each school getting to play each other twice, and it's a perfect 20-game gauntlet, and this, that, and the other. And I am a big fan of that too, because could you imagine if Creighton only got to play UConn twice every 3 years or so, 2 years or something like that? It'd be like, oh my God, what are we talking about?
I know.
So I don't think the Big East needs to change. Or I don't want the Big East to change. I think the Big East needs to change, because this is very much an era where you either make the move to swim, or if you stay put, more often than not, you sink. And I think that we can all see that the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 all have a seat, if not multiple seats at the table, because of how gargantuan those leagues have become comparative to the rest of college athletics. You had Bama, Georgia, etc. in the SEC, and then they went and got Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
So it was like, huh? Obviously, the Pac-12 disbanding gave the Big 12 and gave the Big 10 extra teams, and all of that to say that's kind of where this is going. And so if the rest of these schools are making all of these moves with consolidation in mind to, I don't know, like, what are we moving toward? That's really the big question here that I guess we'll find out over the next couple of decades. Like, are we moving to a huge football controlled super entity of college football that just makes decisions for the rest of athletic departments, teams on campuses, like, right? That kind of, therein lies the question. But we are in an era of consolidation. And so if the Big East is going to swim in this era, then you have to continue to beef up your league. You have to continue to reach this time zone, reach this region, because as much as we make fun of it, think of all the time. Like, I think the Big Ten is in every single time zone.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Are they a mountain?
Maybe not mountain.
Yeah, but that's who cares. It's East Coast, West Coast.
So, like,
Central.
like, you're in almost every time zone.
Yeah.
And that is so beneficial when it comes to TV deals.
Yeah.
TV windows, TV scheduling, right? You give yourself the extra flexibility, extra eyes, this, that, and the other. And so we could sit here and talk about this all day. I'm going to write a column on it over the weekend, I believe. But just for our purposes today, I do think the Big East needs to expand just to keep up, because regardless of what I want, again, I'm not naive enough to realize, to not realize that the Big East is at a very pivotal juncture as a basketball-centric conference in a football-controlled world.
I think the Big East, though, has a really big opportunity here, because if you go and look at the numbers through the regular season and the postseason, college basketball was incredible this year from a viewership perspective. Fox, the Fox family, the ESPN family, both of them announced that, hey, we haven't had this much viewing in quite some time for college basketball, and their numbers were, I think Fox was up 40% from last year to this year in terms of people watching the regular season. And then how many times could we get the PR release from the NCAA tournament saying this was the most watched weekend? And, since this year, I think we had the most watched Elite Eight since 1992. Like, I mean, college basketball, in part because you're seeing a lot of these second round picks and even first round picks like Braylon Mullins returning to their college basketball teams because of the NIL era and the transfer portal. The quality is going up. The competition is going up. The continuity is continuing. And so the sport is continuing to grow and get more popular. And I think from the Big East perspective, right? Yeah, they're not getting the football revenue that all these other teams are getting. And so they may not necessarily be spending the full $20.5 million in terms of rev share, but they are the basketball conference. With basketball becoming more and more popular in the eyes of the nation, they have a real opportunity, in my opinion, to, establish themselves. If you want great basketball, you watch Big East basketball. And unfortunately, they picked a bad year to only have 3 teams make the NCAA tournament. And I think that the transfer portal, if you're the Big East, you get really excited with Providence and Xavier and Villanova and Creighton and DePaul all having some top-rated transfer portal classes so they can get their league to being more competitive. My question to you, John, and maybe you talk about this in the column you're going to write, the media rights deals. You talked about the TV deals, right? 2031 is when it is up for the Big East. So 2031 is where their current TV deal, which includes NBC and TNT and True TV and Peacock, that's when you have to re-up that or you find a new partner. Do you think the Big East adds teams before that 2031 TV deal deadline, or do you think this is a longer process?
That's a really good question. I think I told Jimmy last night that I think if anything's going to happen, it probably happens by the mid 2030s.
Okay.
So within the next decade, I'd say. It's just what I think. And so I don't know. I don't know where that would line up with a 2031 start date. Probably. I think the college football playoff structure changes again by the end of the decade or early in the next decade.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe as more change happens, that will kind of push the Big East into making change happen. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. I mean, it's a tough question to be asked, but I mean, this definitely comes down to TV, and if you're able to add Dayton, if you're able to add the one that came to mind. So you brought up Dayton. I didn't think of Dayton. I thought of St. Thomas immediately. That's currently in the Summit League, and they got a lot of money, and I think that would be a really good match for the Big East. Loyola Chicago, I think, is That'd be
Could you get SLU? You know, could you get SLU to lead the A10?
That's a good one, John Walker. That'd be a very good one. St. Louis, you tap into that too. You get more of the Midwest a little bit there. Yeah, I think SLU would be really good. I think if you had Loyola Chicago, I don't know if you could do a Loyola Chicago DePaul rivalry, but I do think if you can get back into Chicago, if you're the Big East, if you can get back into the third biggest market at any opportunity, I think that would be really good for them. I like SLU a lot. You brought up Dayton. I think Dayton would be perfect. I think that would be a great ad for this conference.
I do too. And that's where it gets tricky with the Big East because, truthfully, the heart of the conference is on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't go get, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. You can't go get Colorado State. I don't think. You know what I mean? Can't.
Could you get Dallas Baptist? Could you get the DBU?
Maybe you could get DBU. It's
great for baseball.
Out of place that far south. Yeah, it'd be phenomenal for baseball.
Maybe do you steal Oral Roberts?
Yeah, you can see what they're doing.
Now we're spitballing here.
They haven't really done enough over the past
No, I think they won
5 years,
6 games this year.
Paul Mills left, and that was kind of the end of that. Creighton fans, cover your ears.
Whoa!
Could you go get Wichita State?
Okay, but I don't think that's a cover your ears, John. I think that's a welcome. I think that is yes. I think that is let's get the rivalry back going, right? Let's reinvigorate that Missouri Valley Conference rivalry. I don't think that's a cover your ears at all. I think that's a hell yeah. Let's go do that.
So,
it's interesting.
Yeah, that's the really interesting thing. The top 3 in my mind, Dayton for sure.
Number one with a bullet.
Dayton's 1 for me. 2 would probably be a St. Thomas, although they're still kind of new. I'm wrong here.
They got to win.
New to the Summit.
They got to win the Summit League. They got to win. They got to win the Summit League Conference tournament first. They have a little bit of work to do, but I think they're destined.
They've got to do that, but they have the resources. They have a location that the Big East doesn't.
Yeah.
Necessarily have a hold of at the moment. I guess Marquette is not too far away.
Nah, it ain't close.
But
it ain't. Exactly. It's still a hike.
So yeah, probably yeah.
I think St. Thomas and Dayton are the top 2 on your list.
And then I don't know, throw a bone out there and see if you can go get SLU. SLU is obviously the top one if you can get them. I think.
Ooh. I would say
with the resources they're putting into it.
Yeah, they're going to have a $10 million roster.
They're committed to being they're committed to being a high major team.
I think though Dayton is perfect because they toe the line of being Eastern Standard Time while also being in the Midwest.
Correct. So that's where it's what market do you want to delve into more? And that's where the TV stuff comes in and time zones and this, that, and the other. So,
and I think you could
be interesting.
Dude, you could if you develop it and both the teams are really good at the same time, you don't think a Xavier Dayton rivalry, you don't think that could
it'd be crazy.
Cincinnati, the Battle of Ohio, that would be big. I love this I love these hypothetical conversations with you because it's fun to have and it's fun to think about, but it also, to your point, is kind of a necessity. You need to grow your conference. You need to have better teams. You need to be more marketable and attractive in terms of, hey, every week we can have great matchups in terms of basketball. And the more good teams that you can add, the more of that. The Big East, let's call a spade. They can't continue to have 3 teams getting in the NCAA tournament. You can't just have St. John's and UConn and then, whomever, right, is having a decent year. You need to be a little bit more competitive. Now, granted, at the same time, I think we can all agree this season was way more of a down year. Marquette is not going to be there all the time. Creighton is not going to be missing the NCAA tournament for too much longer. And Villanova in the first year of Kevin Willard getting to the tournament is a very big development. We got to let you go. Great interview. Always fun talking to you, Whiskey. We will see you next week.
See ya.
John Walker did talk about the college football playoff. expanding to 24 teams. There was a report yesterday from Awful announcing that the ESPN executives privately dismissed a 24-team college football playoff format. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Thank God. I mean, I think 12 is fine. 16 I could deal with. 16 I can deal with. 1 through, one play 16. Get rid of the buys. 2. 1 play 16, 2 plays 15, go down the line, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way. I think that's totally fine. 24 is just like, at that point, just too much. I mean, the 24th team in the country is never going to win the national championship. That's just not going to happen. It's just people being greedy for more, national TV games, which kudos to ESPN. When was the last time we said that?
It's been years.
When was the last time we said good on those guys for making a reasonable decision? Which I think my favorite tweets now on X are when you read a tweet and you think it's from NBA Central or Scams Sharania, or it's from, you read it and you think it's the Babylon Bee, but then you take a closer look and you're like, oh my God, no, this is from the New York Post. Like this is from Shams Sharania. This is from NBA Central. Did you see the Darren Revelle tweet yesterday about ESPN?
God.
Just because we're on the topic. So ESPN is going to have Sports Jeopardy, which I think if you've been following, if you're big on social media, you've been seeing that there are a lot of these accounts and a lot of these different guys who are becoming very popular from doing some sports trivia adjacent type things. And so I think that right now in this kind of social media era that we're in, Sports Jeopardy is great for ESPN. And there's so many people who want to share how much niche sport knowledge they have. I think it's a great call from ESPN to try and do this thing. Darren Revelle said that Joe Buck was a terrible decision to host ESPN Sport Jeopardy, which first off, I want to get out there. He's the best choice. He is by far the best choice.
That's right, man.
He is perfect he
hosted a week of actual Jeopardy while they were looking for a new host.
He is smart. Mm-hmm. He is polished. He's a broadcaster. But Joe's going to drop some one-liners. Joe's going to make fun of you if you have bad answer. Joe is going to be quippy. He's going to be snarky.
If you're a super nerd during the let's talk to the contestant phase, Joe Buck's going to be able to roll with the punches there.
1,000,000%. Yeah. And he's going to – that was the great thing about Trebek, and Jennings does it too, where it's like they're super professional, but they can banter a little bit. They can go back and forth. I think Ken Jennings, by the way, is doing a phenomenal job. I mean – talk about you'd never want to be the guy after the guy, and Trebek is the guy in all of the guy conversations. He's been awesome. He's got a great tie collection as well.
Oh,
Joe Buck, perfect. Revelle tweets this. Given that ESPN is struggling with a young audience, this is a very strange decision. There are so many better hosts that appeal to younger fans. FaZe Rug.
That's a video game.
Yeah,
thing,
nobody
right?
who's listening to this station right now who knows who this is.
Okay.
Robbie Berger. I don't even know who that guy is.
I don't know who that is.
Dude Perfect, guys. I was a Dude Perfect kid growing up. No, thank you.
I'm familiar.
No, thank you. Those guys are good at what they do. They don't. I Show Speed.
I'm familiar.
Darren Revelle wants I Show Speed to be a host. Hell no. What a dumb. All these people who are listening to 1620 The Zone right now don't even know who those people are.
That's correct.
They're like, who? Guys, these are famous young people who don't know what they're doing. One of the stupidest tweets I've ever.
First of all, Joe Buck is 57.
Joe Buck, I read he was 57.
He's been with us a long time, but I don't know that he's old.
I read that Joe was 57, and I go, he looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
he looks incredible.
And there's a thing when you watch Jeopardy that you have to believe the host isn't reading from a card.
Great point.
You have to he knows that.
He knows it.
I don't believe Dude Perfect guys know their head from a hole in the ground.
Well, you know what? They're out of all of the guys, they would probably know the most about sports. But that's not the point.
I don't know that the video game streamers, not that they're not smart. You
need a professional broadcaster,
yes,
who knows a ton about what they're doing, which is why Jennings works, because he could kick the ass of all of the people who are playing Jeopardy. You know that if Ken Jennings went to the other side of that podium, he would kill all those guys, which is why he's great.
If
Joe
you
Buck
want
kind of
to,
the
if
same
you
way.
want to do teen Jeopardy, they do that for a week on the regular Jeopardy. Have I show speed host Teen Jeopardy. That's fine.
How can I want to register. I want to be a part of this. I want to be on Sport Jeopardy.
They will let that be known when it is time. Trust me.
I will be ready. Let's go ahead. Let's do Matt's Mock 10 coming up next year on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we got a lot of things to hit on throughout the show. I'm going to talk about Matt Rhule, spending money. Mike Rabel talked yesterday. We'll continue on that a little bit. Billy Donovan, real quick, by the way, was apparently given all of the years and all of the money and even a chance to have a managerial role for the Chicago Bulls and said no. Said, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't care how much money you give me.
Interesting.
Or how much say I have in terms of the roster management. I'm gone, which is awesome. That's awesome. Jerry's kid was told no. That might be the first time in his life that's ever been done.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So we'll talk about all of that. Talk about Vrabel. Talk about Rhule. Talk about Emmett Johnson, another Nebraska draft prospects that may or may not hear their name. Probably not. Not probably. They will not hear their name tomorrow, but the draft prospects might hear their names on Friday or Saturday, which could be a pretty good thing for Nebraska or could be a pretty bad thing for Nebraska. So we will talk about that. But first, we're going to give you Matt's Mock 10. This is the third edition of Matt's Mock 10, where I give you a mock top 10 draft to kind of throw out some different scenarios for you that might occur tomorrow on Thursday, which could be, look, Michael Severe is in the camp of it's going to be a tame draft. There are other people who heard what Brett Veach said, the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, who we will talk about Kansas City in the segment, who said it's going to be a hectic draft with a lot of trades. There's kind of a split consensus that this is either going to be a lot of teams are going to be moving up or moving out, and there's going to be some interesting draft selections because this isn't necessarily a draft chock full of blue chips. And so there are some teams that are going to be stocking up on 2027 draft prospects. And there are going to be some teams who look at guys like David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate, just to name a few, that are going to be aggressive in acquiring those players. So let's go through this mock 10. Fernando Mendoza, number 1. It's kind of a known thing at this point. Number 2, David Bailey. Now, Peter Schrager released his mock draft today. He only ever releases 2 mock drafts the entire offseason. He has David Bailey at number 2. I think that there was a lot of noise, and Arvell Reese is the guy. He's the better football player. That's where he's going. Then there was some smoke with David Bailey potentially going at number 2 because his floor is higher than Arvell Reese, and you just know that you're going to get a potential double-digit sack guy in the NFL when you go ahead and you pick him. I think there was smoke, and people go, no, this is just smoke. And I think as the days have gone on, there's actually been a fire. Like, there are more and more people who were skeptical of this news, especially when it came out that David Bailey, his top 30 visit was canceled. Immediately, the knee-jerk reaction is, oh, that means that they've already settled on a pick, or they don't want to, they're going to take Reese. Why bring him out there? I think it's the opposite. I think they settled up on Bailey. I think they know that they're going to take David Bailey, and they're like, why have him fly all the way out here, to New York when he's just going to be here 6 days later? We already know that we're going to take him. So I'm going to go David Bailey at 2. I had this thought when making this mock draft today. And I thought, am I crazy thinking this? I'm just going to roll with it. And then Todd McShay also did this on his mock draft. So I don't think I'm crazy. I think this might be a thing.
You and Todd thinking alike?
We've been talking about the Cardinals. And the big thing here, when you read and when you listen, when you hear everything that's going on in this draft, is that the Cardinals are trying to trade out. They have a need at offensive tackle. They can't go into the season with that offensive line. And I think there's a school of thought of need. You can maximize the 3rd overall pick and trade back and get your need at offensive tackle. But then there's my school of thought, which is Arizona wants to be bad. I think Arizona wants to have a high pick next year. I think Arizona wants to be in the sweepstakes for whether it be CJ Carr, Dante Moore, or Arch Manning. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals necessarily are approaching this draft as, hey, we have holes we need to fix for next season. And so if you're looking at it that way, and you know that Arizona is positioning themselves for the 2027 draft, then just take the best player. And I don't think the best pick or the best player is taking Jeremiah Love at 3, which a lot of people think they'll do. I think it's taking Arvell Reese at 3 and taking a guy who can be that Micah Parsons type and who can be a versatile player on your defense and who does address them. Because the Cardinals, you look at their needs, it's QB and an offensive line. And then after that, it's the entire defense. Like their entire front seven needs reworking. I think they go Reese at 3 in this mock draft. So we go Reese at 3. What happens at 4 now with Tennessee? Because I think there was the assumption that, hey, maybe they're going to have an option between Reese and Love. I think they go with Love. There's a lot of noise for Sonny Styles. This is going to be does Brian Dable get his way? Does Borgonzi get his way? Or does Saleh get his way? I think Borgonzi teams up with Dable and says, no, we got to put Jeremiah Love with Cam Ward. Love at 4. At 5, the Giants now, they have some options when it comes to defensive players at 10. In this mock, let's go Spencer Fanu at 5, which then leads at 6. Cleveland here, I think, should take an offensive line, but with now Fanu gone, and I think that's the guy that they want, this is the ultimate trade spot. I think if a trade really happens in this draft, it's going to be at 6. I think 3 is more of a smokescreen. I think 6 is legit. If you're Kansas City, you have to approach this draft with not only how often are we going to be here, but I think you have to approach this draft, if you're the Chiefs, as how long or how often am I going to be this close to the top 6? It's not just how often am I going to be in the top 10? How often am I going to be 4 picks away from 5? How often am I going to be 3 picks away from 6?
This is like when the Warriors had that year where everyone was hurt. They were like, we're in this spot that we are never
going
to be in again.
Exactly. So it's not just how often are the Chiefs going to be in the top 10? I'm more looking at it as how often is it going to be the Chiefs only need to jump 3 spots to get into the top 6? How often is it going to happen where they only have to go up 4? Because if we know anything, if the Chiefs are ever going to get back into the top 6 or the top 5, they're going to have to drop 15 spots or 20 spots. They're never going to really be this close. I have Kansas City trading here to 6, and you got to get a star. You got to get a stud. You got to get a plued chipper that maybe you don't often have the opportunity to take. I think they trade up to 6 and they get their edge. They get their Reuben Bain Jr., and they add a guy that can be the next disruptor on the defensive line. I think that Kansas City has a formula. They got Pat. They know what they're doing in the secondary when it comes to acquiring late round talent. That's why I don't believe I'm not fully subscribed to them taking Delane at 9. This team has proven that they can take guys later in the draft in the secondary and produce them and make them into really good cornerbacks or safeties. So I think they go and get Reuben Bain Jr. at 9. I think Washington, man, your attitude in the front office of Washington is we have a generational talent at quarterback potentially. We cannot screw this up. If Love gets you at 7, you run to the podium. But if Carnell Tate gets you at 7 too, I think you sprint maybe just a little bit slower. You put Tate, and this is a need at wide receiver because, Terry McLaurin, really good wide receiver. I wouldn't put him at the tier 1. But then Luke McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. Deebo's old, and I just don't know if you can really trust that Luke McCaffrey is going to be a true number 2. You're bringing Cardinal Tate. He can be a true number 1. Then here at 8, I think if you're New Orleans, they're a team where they could do a lot. They could trade up. They could trade out. I think this is a spot, and we say this over and over again with this draft, damn positional value. Go ahead and take the best player. Caleb Downs at 8. I think Francis Maui-Noah, great deal for Cleveland. They trade out of 6. They get to 9. They take their offensive tackle, which is a big need for them. Cleveland and New York, I think, are in the same situation where it's too early for you to draft a quarterback. You need to build an infrastructure around that quarterback before you take them in next year's draft. So Maui-Noah goes to 9. And then at 10, you go ahead, you take an offensive lineman. At 5, if you're the New York Giants, you take the cornerback Mansour Delane at 10 from LSU. If you're New York, I think that would be a home run draft, offensive tackle and corner. This is pretty close to what I think my mock will be. This is kind of one scenario that I think could happen, but I'm subscribed to a couple of things happening here fully. And one of those is I think Kansas City trades up. I think that'll be my bold prediction of this draft. I think the Kansas City Chiefs trade up and they go, hey, how often are we going to be this close to having a true blue chipper where we can just take this in the draft and we can plug and we can play and be like, hey, this could be our next guy after our first wave of dynasty players go away. So I think when I have my final mock tomorrow, I'm going to have Kansas City trading up. That's one thing I'm subscribing to. One thing we always subscribe to here, it's the Odd News. It's coming up next with Josh Odd's son here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Pro Football Focus did to us. I'll tell you why. Off the air.
Whoa, let's go.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely, I'm fired up right now.
Oh, no.
I'm writing a very angry email currently to Pro Football Focus.
Did
You know
John
what?
P get to you?
Let me.
again?
I'm emailing John P right now. This is
Had to
when
throw it
I
up
have
on the screen. to
when I
remember
have a
his name.
yearly. You know what? I never agreed to automatic, re-upping of subscriptions, and I should get a warning about it, even if I do a yearly subscription.
Oh, if you're on, this is a great take. If you are on a yearly subscription with something, there needs to be an email that, hey, in 5 days, we're going to take a significant amount of money out of your account.
I don't think
you need to know that. That happens to me every year with Amazon Prime. I'm like, hey, where'd $200 go?
Dude, another thing is that I don't think yearly subscription should be automatically renewable. It's a year-to-year basis. In 12 months, things change, right? Monthly, yeah, it's automatic, and then you can go and cancel in any month. If it's yearly, no. All right, sent my email. One odd news story. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
You got to tighten this up, man.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
What? We had a long Walker combo.
It was a good convo.
We'll give you a lot of time tomorrow.
Minor League Baseball. A lot of quirks in that game.
Yeah, talk about just a perpetual odd news story.
Yes. We go to the Marlins AAA affiliate last night. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp threw a no-hitter. Congratulations.
We haven't had a no-hitter in the MLB in quite some time.
Yes.
We have a drought going.
Had one in AAA last night. Braxton Garrett.
All these kids named Braxton. This is ridiculous.
Another great take by you. The lefty did not surrender a hit over 8 innings yesterday as the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp lost to the Gwinnett Stripers 2-0 at Gwinnett Field last night.
So did he how many errors and how many walks?
Great question. 3 errors.
Oh my God.
The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp themselves only got 1 hit. Imagine going to that game last night and your team wins. That's great. It's a 2-0 final. You saw 1 hit in the entire game.
Okay.
Last night.
So how many walks did Mr. Braxton give up?
1 walk.
He had 1 walk and 3 errors?
No, I'm sorry. That was Spencer Strider, who was doing a rehab stint. There's a lot going on in this story. Braxton cruised through 8 frames on 98 pitches.
Whoa.
He plunked the first 2 batters.
Okay.
Threw a wild pitch.
Oh, no.
And was late to cover home.
That's on him.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
The throwing, he also made a throwing error on a pickoff attempt at second.
Wow, what a bad game from that guy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going through 8 hitless innings and 98 pitches? Good God.
Yeah. So many times now, they're like, "Oh, we're on no-hitter watch. We're on no-hitter alert."
I bet,
and I just go, "How many pitches is he at?" Because I'm a combined no-hitter, isn't a no-hitter guy.
I bet Quattrero probably would have pulled him after 6.
Well, he wouldn't have had anyone up in the pen.
I love, by the way, like when people were somewhat happy with him and somewhat happy with the Royals, and this is more dating back to last year, they would call him Q.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately as soon as you start being a bad manager and putting together bad lineups, we remove the nickname. Mm-hmm. You are Quattrero. You are not Q anymore.
We're not having fun. I don't like you. Let's not be familiar because I'm going to ask you to pack your things.
Exactly. It's one of those things where it's a nice Moneyball reference, by the way, though, where it's like it's not Pasquatch right now. No, he is Vinny Pasquantino. And until he starts raking, he is Vinny Pasquantino. So, big win, though, yesterday. I thought they did it again. I thought they gave up another late lead in the 8th inning, the Royals did, and then they came back and ended up winning the game. Kudos to them. They still got a lot of work that they have to do. They got to start winning these one-score games.
A lot of season left.
Yeah. Yeah, but now I think we are in the proper time when we can start reacting to things in baseball.
Yeah, I think we're
I think April 22nd,
right on the front end of that cusp.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think we are now slowly crossing the line of demarcation in terms of you can have baseball takes now. Baseball take. The NL East sucks.
Good take.
And the Cubs are very happy about it until they got to take their West Coast trip right at. And by the way, the all right, we got to hit a break, but they got to play the Dodgers and Padres coming up, and they're going to get their boats raced. All right, coming up next, we'll talk some Matt Rhule here on Middays Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, a couple of housekeeping things before we get into some conversations here about Matt Rhule, Nebraska football program. As always, don't forget to email us at the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. Always pick on the first ring. Old man Doug, shout out, one of our best listeners. Love him greatly and everything all the partnerships he has with the station, along with the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. 429511620. The number to text and call, and always reach out to us in the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. And never forget to go to 1620thezone.com to enter into all of our great online contests for your ability to win your way into the following concerts: George Thorogood and the Destroyers, the Yachtly Crew, the Black Keys, the Young Giant, Chris Stapleton, and Burt Kreischer. All of those, the details on all of those concerts and where they might be, whether it be in Lincoln or in Omaha, you can find it at 1620thezone.com and go ahead and enter there. And don't forget to enter into the Zone's Derby draw for your chance to win $200 without saddling up on a horse. Boss Man Allen was here in studio today while we were off the air, a horse racing connoisseur. Mr. Bossman Allen was
like an actual one, though, not like you pretend to be. I'm joking.
I mean, I'm definitely Bossman is teaching me some things about horse racing. Let's just put it that way. There you go. Right? Because I read the pamphlet, I read the racing form, I see the odds, I see what the practice times are. Grandpa Mac always said 11 seconds to a furlong. Live and die by it. Okay. That's what you're looking at, right? Always bet on the gray horses. That's my take. We don't really like this Kentucky Derby field just because Paladin, our knight in shining horse, unfortunately, broke his ankle, to be more specific. So he will not be in any of the major races, which leads us to a bunch of horses rather, that don't have the best kicks, and a bunch of pace horses and a Japanese horse that I'm falling in love with that I should know better not to. So anyway, though, the 12th race of on May 2nd at Churchill Downs is what we're going off of for the Zone Derby draw. Go and enter in at 1620thezone.com for a chance to be put into a pool, and then you'll be selected out of that pool, hopefully for your sake, and then we'll pair you up with a horse. Your horse wins that race, you win $200 without moving off of your couch and just watching the most exciting 2 minutes in all of sports. So get in on the action at 1620thezone.com. Yeah, Bossman Allen was trying to teach me some things about handicapping and nominations and allowance races and whatnot. So, we're learning. And my hope is that's one of my biggest goals in life. In one fail swoop in one season, if I could go ahead and bet the Kentucky, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes winner, I'll die a happy man. Okay. That's a hole-in-one and that feat definitely up on the list. So hopefully Bossman Allen can get me there. Let's talk about this too in terms of gambling as well while we're still on the topic. Everybody knows I'm Mr. Subscriptions, even though I'm currently trying to cancel one with PFF, those slimy sons of guns. Subscribe to Todd McShay. I like Todd. Todd's very honest. Todd is very, very honest in terms of the fact that he's talking to executives, he's talking to GMs, he's getting intel, right? And he's very open and honest about that intel. And I want you to read something. He goes, this is from Todd McShay's report. Let's start with what I feel strongest about after recent conversations. Texas Tech's David Bailey and Ohio State's Arvell Reese will be off the board by pick 5. Whichever player the Jets don't take at number 2 is still very much in play at number 3 with the Cardinals. And my strong understanding, the floor for both guys is at number 4 with the Titans. McShay continues, after releasing my Monday Morning Buzz column, in which I predicted Reese over Bailey, I was told by a league source to revisit that intel. I'm now of the belief that New York views Bailey, a proven pass rusher, as the safer pick than Reese, despite Reese being a better talent and having a floor of a damn good off-ball linebacker who can rush at times. I was also told that the GM might have been getting the Reese info out there to test the waters to see what kind of trade offers might materialize. That's fine intel. That's great. This is great reporting. That's why I pay $4 a month, right, for Todd McShay, because he's very, hey, I'm talking to these people. I'm hearing that New York's testing the waters. I have one issue, though. If you listen to Todd McShay's podcast, there is an advertisement that Todd runs where he says, hey guys, don't forget, you're listening to this draft podcast and listen to all the intel that we're talking about, but you can bet on these things, right? You can gamble to see who goes in what pick or who goes in the top 5 or who goes in the top 10 or specifically what team drafts who. And yet Todd McShay is telling you, basically, I'm getting different intel and I have no idea. And like even yesterday when we played the clip of Rich Eisen, let's play it again. Can we play it again right here? On the clip from the Rich Eisen show, we played this yesterday. This was Todd McShay talking to Rich Eisen about Sonny Styles, the New York Giants.
I thought it was Sonny Styles at 5 for the Giants. Apparently, it may not be.
That's all I'm hearing is that the Giants don't want Sonny Styles. That word is on the street.
It's on the street.
It is on the draft street, which means Sonny Styles is going to be a Giant.
Honestly,
let's be straight up here. I mean, who the hell knows?
So it's one of those things where it's like you have the draft intel expert and you have somebody who's very tuned in, Rich Eisen, and they're kind of laughing, joking, telling you, we have no idea what's going to happen. All these people are lying. All this intel can be, smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. And then it does kind of bother me that we go, hey, don't forget to gamble on it. Don't forget to spend your hard-earned money to see who might go where. When at the end of the day, anyone who knows anything about this draft is that it's a crapshoot, and all the drafts are crapshoots. So what you take the advertisements you take and whatever it might be, and you decide to do with your money what you do with your money. I'll just say this: I ain't gambling on this stuff, okay? And I did it last year, and it wasn't too much fun. So I just have to bring it up. It just irks me a little bit when we have these experts being like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And then we tell you, hey, do you know what you should do? You should gamble on it. It rubs me the wrong way a little bit. I just wanted to get that out there. All right. I'll tell you something that didn't rub me the wrong way, but it might have rubbed some people the wrong way. You're able to deduce, make your own thoughts for yourself. Matt Rhule talking about money yesterday. Credit to Herd Sports Live. Credit to Damon Benning and Robbie Lula for having the head coach of Nebraska football on for a very long, I think the entire interview was 53 minutes, where they talked about, Sierra Wright and draft prospects, and they talked about money, and they talked about the schedule. They talked about anything in and around the Nebraska football program. And the big thing is, I think there is a difference between Matt Rhule doing his job and the reality of things, right? And so we heard it before the offseason even began. While the season was going on last year, Matt Rhule kind of pounding the table for, hey, we need more NIL money. Hey, we need more money to spend on players. Hey, we need to get to the point where we can compete with these teams in order to spend money on the transfer portal and get the best players possible here to Nebraska. And that was a big emphasis for Rhule during the season and then going into the offseason of we need to get more funds. And he said it, during his interview that, hey, Troy Danon has done a great job getting us the resources that we need, and he is doing everything he can to do that for us. But he said this yesterday. He said, when I say, hey, we have enough money to compete now, guess what those other teams did? They said, they got that? Watch what we do. Boom. And the market changes. Rhule continued to say, and my job is simply to say, hey, how come we can't be first in terms of the output? How come we can't be in the top 3 or 4? And if we're there, I'm going to continue to say that. If you were first, guess what? You think Ohio State's going to sit back? So I think that kind of rubs people the wrong way in terms of Matt Rhule is saying, we need more money. We need more money. We need more money. And he got more money. And then what does he then go and do? Say, well, they got more money to the response of us getting more money. So guess what? What we need? We need more money. And Josh, I'll credit you to this line when we were talking off air. You go, yeah, look, he's kind of moving the goalpost.
He had enough money a few months ago.
The original thing was, hey, get us to be there. Get us to be right there. Get us to be competitive. Maybe not the most, but then so we can compete with these guys. And then he got more money. And then now what is he doing? He's asking for more. But at the same time, he's not wrong when he says, my job is to simply say, hey, how come we can't be first? Right? And he continued to say, he brought, and this is outside of these quotes, but he brought up how Nebraska football has always been on the cutting room floor, right? The strength and conditioning program, the nutrition program, the things that they've done in the past. It seems like Nebraska in the history of college football has done a lot of first in the history of college football. And his argument is, hey, we want to be first. Let's continue to be first. Let's continue to be on the cutting room floor. Let's continue to advance things. And let's be real. We talked about this in the crossover. Louisville's got Papa John's money.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas's got Walmart and Tyson Chicken. LSU's got Raising Cane's. BYU's got cookies. And Texas Tech has oil, right? Larry Ellison is doing a lot of work for Michigan, and he also has ties to Illinois. And unfortunately for Nebraska, you don't have that big billionaire super donor that has all the money in the world that is just on its own backing all of your things that you're doing.
Obligatory. Why don't they just ask Warren Buffett? Comment.
Yeah.
There, we did it. We said it.
Ain't gonna happen.
Back to you, Matt.
So, let's be real. It's a little unrealistic. It's unrealistic to think that Nebraska is going to spend the most money.
Seems pretty hard to beat oil.
It's hard. It's going to be very hard to do that. And even Rhule said it himself. As soon as we got money, they were like, oh, crap, let's get more money, right? So even if Nebraska gets to the point of getting the most money, other people are going to be like, all right, now we're going to be number one. And, it's one of those things where I think there is a balance between, I understand if people kind of roll their eyes and say, oh my God, he's asking for money again. Isn't this guy supposed to be a player development guy? Isn't this guy supposed to, take these lower rated talents and develop them into great talents? Isn't this what we were advertised that he could be as the head coach? I understand that. Dude, I'm thinking the same things too.
It's a lot like church, right?
Yeah.
Where they're always going to be asking you for money. They always need more money. And you're sitting there going, what?
It's not.
I gave you what I could. Can't you just can't you stretch it?
And can I use a different example?
Please.
Away from church. It's like donating back to your college from an academic standpoint.
Sure.
When I get the emails 2 years after graduating the University of Nebraska, I go, I just gave you 6 figures. You spent it already? All right. What? You need more money from me? I'm still paying off my loans. What do you mean you need more money from me? Right. And so I get it from that degree. At the same time, I wouldn't want Matt Rhule being like, oh, we're good. No, we're good. Would he like, no, this is, we are in a money race. All right. For a lack of a better term, we are in an arms race. Okay. And the more money that you have in the war chest, the better opportunity you have to win. Okay. The better opportunity. And he said it himself to Robbie and to Damon. We got to get great players. You can have great facilities and you have great nutrition. You can be on all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we got to get great players. And so is there a part of me that goes, hey, man, you just had 3 seasons at the University of Nebraska. This is going to be your 3rd draft here at the university. And there's a chance that you only have 1 player that gets selected in these picks. That's not what was advertised to me. That's not good enough. Ohio State has 5 guys who are going to go in the 1st round. Nebraska is going to might have one guy get drafted, period. And there are 7-round mock drafts, man, that are out there where it's only Emmett Johnson being drafted. What did Matt Rhule say at a podium one time when he was talking about in-state recruiting, the fact that they haven't done a whole lot of in-state recruiting or haven't lived up to that mark that people want them to live up to? He goes, I only serve one master. The master I serve is beating Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's got 5 first-round draft picks. 4 of which are going to end up in the top 10. You got one. You might have one going in the NFL draft. You got to catch up, man. You got to do better, right? And I understand. Like, look, yeah, if you want to do better, money is going to help you. Money is going to do that. But it's not just all about the money. It's about also developing those players who you don't need to spend a lot of money on. How much money did Indiana spend on D'Angelo Pons coming from James Madison University? Not a lot. How much money did they spend on Elijah Surratt when he first came to Indiana? Not a lot. How much do you want to bet that Nebraska was paying Dylan Raiola more money than Fernando Mendoza to Indiana? I'd probably
pretty logical.
I'd probably gamble that they were spending more money on Dylan than they were spending on Fernando Mendoza in Indiana. So yes, money is going to help you get great players. Money is going to help you to get great talent. But at the same time, I think Matt Rhule needs to do a better job of proving the reason as to why he took that job, which is to develop players that maybe people overlook, right? Developing players that are finding diamonds in the rough and getting those guys to play above their expectations, because that's what they did at Baylor. That's what they did at Temple, right? His turnarounds at Baylor and at Temple did not stem from getting 5-star prospects or getting, the best guys out of the transfer portal. Those turnarounds and why he earned this job started from getting dudes who were unranked, getting dudes who were overlooked, finding football traits that only you could find, and then developing those guys into, Jalen Petrie, developing those guys into Terrence Knight, developing those guys into Dion Dawkins. That's why he got this job. So Matt Rhule is doing his job, and I have no problem with him saying, I want more money. We need to be number one. Why can't we be number one? That's what he needs to do. That's his job. That's and whether or not he gets it, it's fine. He just needs to do that. Okay? Because that's what is going to help move this program forward. But on top of that, if we're keeping our promise, if the donors and the fans are keeping their promise as investors to you, to give you what you need from a financial standpoint, you need to keep your promise as a player developer as well. It's a two-way street in my mind. So I think Matt Rhule, let me tell you right now, when he first got here to University of Nebraska, Emmett Johnson was not a draft pick. Emmett Johnson was not a potential second-round guy. Emmett Johnson was not a dude that was going to be selected as one of the top 5 running backs in an NFL draft. And so he needs to be credited with that. Same thing with Ty Robinson, right? When he got Sierra Wright from USC, he was not a guy that we were thinking, this guy could end up being a draft pick. And he helped do that. So you got to give him credit there. But it is not unfair for me to say, give me more. We need more Emmett Johnsons. You need more Ty Robinsons. You need more Sierra Wrights. And so I'm not bothered in the slightest by Matt Rhule saying we need more money again. I am not bothered in the slightest by him saying we need to be number one. I am bothered by this being the 3rd year of this program, and you might only have one NFL draft pick. That I'm bothered by. That I'm bothered by. That I'm like, two-way street here. We gotta go both ways. Now, another thing that he did mention is, and this is a big quote, he's not wrong. This isn't college football anymore. This is pro football. I think knee-jerk reaction, people go, oh no. Right? Because
sure, yeah.
Matt Rhule's one true failure. His one true failure is in the NFL. His one true failure is with the Carolina Panthers, and that was in pro football. Okay? So when he goes, hey, this isn't college football anymore, this is pro football, you go, ooh, you didn't do too well there. That's not great. You're like, oh, I don't know if that's great for us, right? That I don't want to steal Peterson's cake because Peterson's been on this thing for a little bit. He'll probably bring it up again on his show today. But I'll say there's one difference because Matt Rhule has talked about the owner of the Carolina Panthers before. He's talked about Dave Tepper. The vibe I get, and he's brought up, the one quote he always brings up about Dave Tepper is scared to lose is afraid to win. It's a hell of a quote. When he brings it up, though, I get the vibe that he's bringing up a good piece of advice from somebody he may not look too fondly upon, right? That's the vibe that I get. And when Matt Rhule says this is pro football, the one real difference that he has in pro football in Nebraska compared to pro football in Carolina is that who's the owner? Who's the general manager? Who's the person he has to answer to? For the most part, he's got to answer to himself.
Yeah, at a certain point, your shortcomings can't be everyone else's fault.
Well, I just don't think Matt Rhule is given the resources. He's given maybe not all the resources he wants, but he's given resources. And the decisions that he make fall on him. You can't really say, hey, Dave, back in Carolina, you could say, man, the front office did him no favors. Hey, Dave Tepper did him no favors. He wasn't given the full, autonomy to do what he wants to do. You can make some legitimate excuses as to why the roster wasn't what the roster was at Carolina. And those excuses can take the blame off of Matt Rhule. The difference here between pro football in Nebraska and pro football in Carolina is that all of the shortcomings, you got to put them on Rhule. And he talks about Troy Dannon saying he's great. He's doing everything he can. He's giving us the resources. He's doing a phenomenal job. So there's no Dave Tepper, it seems like, to fully get in the way of Matt Rhule.
Be careful about asking for all of these things because it's going to eventually it's just going to be, well, it was the OC's fault. It was this guy. Well, we've eliminated every hurdle you had.
Yeah.
And then it's just you.
They've eliminated a lot. He's got way more autonomy to do what he wants to do here at Nebraska compared to what he could do at Carolina. Are there some people who still ask answer to? Sure. He's got Pat Stewart, the GM, he's got Troy Dannon, the athletic director, right? But he talked about it one time where he said he wanted to look at Brock Purdy. And the front office told him, no, we are not looking at Brock Purdy. Matt Rhule here at Nebraska, if he wants to look at a certain quarterback prospect and he's truly interested in them and he wants to develop a relationship with them, there's no front office telling him, no, can't do that. So, all righty, coming up next here on Middays with Matt, we'll keep it rolling with some Husker athletics. We're going to transition to basketball, though. Some pretty big developments coming out in terms of the potential eligibility here of Jamarcus Lawrence. How's that going to affect the basketball team? Along with some other housekeeping things that we have to do here on MWM on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right. Middays Matt here on 1620 Zone. Rolling here. Caught a lot of different things. We talked Blue Jay basketball today. Talked about the NBA. Talked about the NHL.
And there's so much time left to continue talking
I
about
know. So much to talk about. The new Rothstein Rothstein's 45 came out today.
I got a push notification earlier for a bracketology.
Oh, God.
And I wanted to throw my phone through this window.
Can I ask, though? Did you look at it?
I did not.
Why? Why didn't you look at it?
Because it's
Let's
April
look at
22nd.
it. No, it's never too early to look at a bracket.
I did see Florida was the number 1 overall seed.
So that's why, because Thomas Hawk is coming back to Florida. Okay. And so they are now on the top of all of these preseason top 25 lists because they're bringing back. I'm gonna be real with you. Everyone wants to talk about addition being sexy. Do you know what's sexier? Retention. Okay, that's what's in right now because Thomas Hawk, Alex Condon, and Ruben Chinyelu, the staples of this Florida Gator team, are all coming back along with getting Boogie Flam. So things are looking up for the Florida Gators. Like, look at Michigan's roster. They're number 2 because Elliott Cadeau, Trey McKinney, Morez Johnson, and Ade Mara, my apologies, are all coming back. Those aren't additions. Those are retentions. Same thing with UConn and with Illinois. What website was it?
ESPN. Creighton, one of the last 4 teams in.
Whoa!
They'll be playing VCU in a play-in game.
Okay.
In Sacramento, if they win, they'll go to Sacramento to take on Vanderbilt.
Where was Nebraska?
Great question. We're going to have to control F here.
Whoa. Sound like me trying to find draft picks.
Nebraska, a 5 seed in Omaha, taking on High Point.
Wow.
In the first round.
Look at the storylines just write themselves.
It does.
That is quite incredible. By the way, talking about control F-ing Nebraska, I did that today on a 7-round CBS mock draft to see who else would be drafted outside of Emmett Johnson.
Okay.
Sierra Wright.
The actor?
The actor. Picked 254 in the 7th round to the Colts. Is he? Are they predicting him to be? What do they call the? What do they call the?
Mr. Irrelevant?
There it is. God dang it! That's got to be Mr. Irrelevant, right? 254. That's got to be
257.
Oh, he's 3 away. Oh,
that's according to Google AI.
Do they
so
still
grain of salt?
Do they still send Mr. Irrelevant over to Hawaii?
I don't think so anymore. I think they give you a blazer and take your picture.
Are
and
we
that's it.
really? I mean, what has this country come to?
We used to be a proper country.
This is absolutely ridiculous. We used to be a proper country. Don't forget, though, it's Wacky Guest Wednesday today here on Middays with Matt at 1 o'clock. We're going to have a guest on the show. Only Josh Odson knows. And today, it really is only Josh Odson who knows because you didn't reveal it to Mike Schaefer or Connor Happer like you typically do after the crossover.
Yes.
So typically, those two ragamuffins have the information as to who's going to be my guest at 1 o'clock. Only Josh Odson knows. And we have a remastered edition of Wacky Guest Wednesday intro. So we cannot wait to hear that. I called in Mike Stibbs.
Oh, wow.
Not to sing. It's still me singing, but he helped edit it for me. And so we've done some music things. We pitched things down. Didn't really know how to do that or what
Pitchy
that was.
woo-woo.
Pitchy woo-woo indeed. So we have a fun, hopefully a fun interview coming up at 1 o'clock. A fun thing that I read today was the potential re-emergence of Jamarcus Lawrence on the Nebraska Cornhusker basketball roster. Robin Washington, Husker Online, one of our favorites, released an article yesterday. It's 17 hours ago or 19 hours ago now on the Husker Online website, where the headline is, with the 5-for-5 proposal looming, Jamarcus Lawrence is leaving the door open for a return to Nebraska. Washit details that In the last day of the transfer portal, Jamarcus Lawrence has entered the portal to keep his options open. Essentially, this new NCAA proposal, which would allow athletes to play 5 seasons in 5 years, would allow some grandfathering into athletes who played 4 seasons in 4 years. One of those athletes, 2 of those athletes actually, would be Kendall Blue, the former St. Thomas transfer to Nebraska, who didn't see a ton of time off the bench last season for the Huskers, and their starting point guard, Jamarcus Lawrence, who spent his first 2 years at Nebraska, then transferred to Rhode Island, then came back home to Lincoln. It would give him one more additional year to wear the scarlet and cream. Lawrence detailed that, look, if he is grandfathered in and given an extra year of eligibility, he is coming back to Nebraska, barring Nebraska not having any additional roster spots open. Fred Hoiberg communicated to him, and I'm assuming to Blue as well, that they have 3 roster spots open. He is going to recruit as if Jamarcus Lawrence and Kendall Blue aren't coming back, and that they will not be eligible to come back. So if Nebraska fills out those 3 roster spots and the 5 for 5, ends up passing through and Jamarcus Lawrence is given an extra year of eligibility, unfortunately for J-Law, he'll be having to play his basketball elsewhere, which is why he entered the portal to keep his options open. Now, it's of my opinion that you got to keep one roster spot open through the entirety of the offseason in the case that J-Law is going to be eligible. I mean, unless you get 3 game-changing difference makers, massive pieces that can either start or come off the bench from now until when we'll find out when the 5 for 5 is put through, I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, if you got to add 2 guys, you got to add 2 guys, but you keep one spot open for J-Law. This would be massive if this were to happen. Now, I think we can get into the interesting conversation of what the starting lineup will look like. In my opinion, the starting lineup is overrated. I'm more worried about who's closing the game opposed to who's starting the game, right? We talked about it with Nebraska a lot, right? Frager coming off of the bench. Well, at the end of the game, Braden Frager was out on the court, and it really mattered who was closing your games in the last couple of minutes of the game to seal the deal. But, this is a guy, Jamarcus Lawrence, who I think people forget in his sophomore season, started a lot of the games and, wasn't playing to his tip-top shape and then started coming off the bench and started being a real spark plug off the bench. Is that something that maybe they go with again to kind of hold that second unit above and have Lenhart start, the guy they got from Utah Valley? Or do they kind of just say, hey, look, our starting point guard from last year is coming back. We're going to slot him into the starting position. We'll have Lenhart come off the bench. Whatever you do, I think it's clear that you start the season with Jamarcus being at the point guard position. To me, it's neither here nor there. But I think his return is big for 2 reasons. You look at this roster right now, you have a solid starting 5. Okay. Lenhart, Frager, Sanford, Orm, Kapke, Cale Jacobson coming off the bench. Solid stuff. Okay. And then from that point on, you have Will Cooper, Connor Sejan, Leo Curtis, Jacob Lanier, and Colin Rice. You have those 5 guys who are fighting for essentially 2 to 3 spots. Now, I think that Curtis is in there because they just need a backup center. So I think right now you can probably slot in Curtis at the 7. So it's really Cooper, Sejan, Lanier, and Rice. 4 guys for 2 more spots that have a lot, solid minutes. Maybe Nebraska goes 9-10 deep. The 9th and 10th guys, get 7 to 10 minutes, however Fred decides to spread it out. But I think if you're looking for that core 8, you have 4 guys fighting for 2 spots. I think that's a really interesting position to be in. You bring back Lawrence, though, and let's say for this sake, he just solidly for sure is in the starting lineup. That means that you're going to have Lenhart, Jacobson, and Rice as your 6, 7, 8. Heading into the year, you know who your 8 guys are, and you know what a rotation looks like. I think that is a massive advantage heading into the offseason, already kind of knowing, hey, this is what our core rotation might look like. And then you add on to the fact of you got Will Cooper. When I was fishing around to try and see, hey, is Quinn Rhymes a guy that's going to enter the transfer portal? Is Quinn Rhymes a guy that they really, really like? In my fishing around, I heard a lot about Will Cooper and how they really like where he's at. And then additionally, Lanier and Rice, 2 4-star prospects, and then you got Connor Seaton coming back from injury. I think you just bringing back Lawrence, you go, okay, hey, they have the rotation right there in front of you. But then on top of that, the depth that they can have and that they can create, Nebraska basketball, even dating back to last year, was a team where you're like crossing your fingers of like, man, I hope they don't get hurt. I hope they don't get injured. I hope they could stay away from the injury bug. I hope that they don't catch a bad break. And, they caught a couple, obviously Frager going down with the ankle injury against Washington and Mass getting a terrible sickness. That was bad luck. But in the grand scheme of things, right, you never suffered that outside of Seaton, who was never going to start for you. You never suffered that season-long injury, and you're very grateful for that. You look at this roster, if you were to add Lawrence to it, yeah, you could, they're deep. They're a team where it's like, yeah, an injury or two isn't going to ruin your season. And you have some really interesting pieces, not only just from a returning production standpoint in a season, but also a potential standpoint in Lanier and in Rice. And so I think that immediately, I don't know if Nebraska has a quote-unquote depth problem right now with this roster, but, you do have some question marks in terms of, is Rice and Lanier going to be ready to go? Is the Seaton going to be, what he was coming back from injury? Is Leo Curtis going to take the steps that you're hoping he takes in this full offseason, is becoming a bigger contributor? I think if you slide Lawrence back into the starting lineup and back into the rotation, immediately you're like, okay, you feel way better about it. And so you're kind of playing with house money in a way with some of these guys and their potential development coming off of the bench. And then it's also to another factor of, I'll never forget this, going to the Big Ten tournament, they lose to Purdue. Tough loss. Team that, just clearly had Nebraska's number. The guys are walking back into the locker room. They're pretty dejected. Who went ahead of everybody else, stood in front of that locker room, high-fived every guy and said, hey, they're just hot. Don't worry about it. We got another game. Come on. We're going to be good. We're going to be okay. It was Jamarcus Lawrence. And we talk about the culture and the fit and how important that is for Fred Hoiberg and his staff. And it's clear as day that the culture and standing of this team starts and begins with the head man, starts and begins with Fred Hoiberg. But it's tough when you lose cultural pillars like Rink Mask and Sam Hoiberg. That's really, really hard to replace. Bringing back Jamarcus and having him be that type of guy and having him continue to grow as that leader, having him along with Samford and Frager and Jacobson to continue building on that culture and having that be the foundation of that program is another big addition. So if you're a Nebraska basketball fan, you are hooting and hollering for the NCAA to pass this 5 seasons and 5 years rule, because it would be massive for this team to get J-Law back, as your starting point guard. And then additionally to kind of have him back as a cultural centerpiece for this team. And, you don't have, I'm not freaking out about the depth that they have after Curtis, but I am a little concerned about it. You bring in a guy who's played a lot of college basketball and J-Law, you solve some of those problems immediately. So let's go ahead and we'll do some housekeeping before we get to Wacky Guest Wednesday. We'll talk about baseball, talk about softball, a little bit of a Vrabel Rossini vibe, along with some other things that happen across the National Basketball League and some updates on the NFL draft. All that and more coming up on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Looking at the Bears 7-round mock draft. Loving it. Just loving it. TJ Parker, Caden McDonald are two guys that I want. I either want a dude who's going to hit the quarterback or I want a fat man who's just going to stuff the run. I just love fat men who just get up to the D-line and they just hold everybody.
Absolutely.
Nobody go anywhere.
Yeah.
My linebackers got to clean this up. Then they got Jeremy Bernard.
Jeremy.
It's tough to pronounce. He's a tough son of a gun, man.
I don't know.
He is a tough wide receiver. He's going to block. He's going to hit. He's going to do all the little work. He's the type of guy that Ben Johnson likes. And then a guy that I really like, Logan Jones, center out of Iowa, All-American. Scott Docterman actually wrote a really good article about Logan Jones and how he had the opportunity to go in the draft last year, but he opted not to, and then decided to go back to Iowa and then became an All-American. And, Scott does a great job kind of diving into the ins and outs of why so many guys are returning to college in terms of trying to be 6th, 7th round picks. Why would you do that and get a 4-year contract if you can just go back and make a lot more money for 1 year, which, is good for the players, which is good for making more money, good for their futures, and also pretty good for the sport of college football. And potentially good for the sport of the NFL as well, especially at the offensive line positions when you can get another extra year of development. So there's a lot of news coming out in the pre-draft process right now. Dallas all in and around it. So, number one, Stephen Jones, Jerry's kid, which I call him Jerry. This is funny. Jerry's kid is the president of the Bulls.
Yes.
Okay. Jerry's kid is not running the Cowboys. Stephen Jones is running the Cowboys.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I actually respect some of the moves that Stephen Jones has done. Stephen Jones, say what you want about the Cowboys and them not making the Super Bowl or winning an NFC divisional game. They've made some pretty damn good moves under the Stephen Jones era where they've put them in positions to make deep playoff runs. They said, look, we ain't signing George Pickens. All right. We are not giving him a long-term extension. He is going to play on the franchise tag. He has not shown up to any of the off-season workouts. We'll see what happens when it gets into training camp because I think Pickens could be another candidate here to potentially hold out or maybe do a hold in. That's sexy now. That's hot now where guys show up and they don't practice. They hold in, which is like kind of wuss material in my opinion. If you're going to hold out, don't hold in. Don't be a half foot into being a diva. Don't dip your toe in the diva pond. Hold out.
Just gonna,
hold their feet to the fire.
I'm gonna walk around in gym shorts and
with a backpack.
Make you all wish I was here.
All these athletes always walking around with backpacks.
What are they hiding in there?
Well, maybe they're not hiding anything. But as a grown man, have you ever thought, wow, I'm bringing so many things, I need a backpack?
Really, it's just to like the College World Series.
If I can't hold it in my pockets, I'm not leaving the house. Right now, obviously, if you're, maybe if you're working, right, you say the College World Series, I'll have a backpack for the College World Series. That might be a little different, but I'm talking in everyday life. If it don't fit in my pockets, I ain't leaving.
Sure.
Unless I lose it, which is typically what happens with keys. But anyway, George Pickens, candidate to be a holdout come training camp. And then during the pre-draft interview between the entirety of the Dallas Cowboys think tank, a former president walked into the room. And Jerry Jones got so excited that he nearly fell off the stage running to go and shake the hands of one Bill Clinton. It's a hell of a clip on Twitter. Let me just say this. As somebody who, they're both Arkansas guys,
Oh, okay.
So, no. The politics don't really line up. I know what you're saying there, but.
All right, I got to look this up.
Yeah. Anyway, so he almost falls off the stage running to go shake the hand of Bill Clinton. I was born in 2002. I was never alive when Bill Clinton was really Bill Clinton.
Oh,
right?
you missed out.
I've only ever been told about Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's got aura. You see the video of him walking into the room? I'm not talking about his politics or anything like that, or what he's done in his life.
mean,
I'm just saying,
there's a mob around.
I'm just saying him standing in the room.
Huh.
He's got a little moxie to him. Just something to point out.
This is wild.
I'm
sorry, I'm watching.
Jerry's an old man.
Yeah.
And he nearly falls off the stage. You could break a hip. I mean, let's just be real. Jerry Jones can't take too many bad falls. Okay. I mean, it's dangerous.
That would be my guess. Yeah.
It's dangerous. He's got to have a group of people around him to making sure that he's on his own 2 feet at all times.
Huh.
And I feel bad for the reporter who asked the question, who then his question gets interrupted by one of the former presidents of the United States.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, you're like, hey, I really needed that question.
I'm trying to write an article.
Oh, wow. He literally almost fell.
He legitimately almost
I watched one video from one angle, and he didn't really fall. And then, yeah.
So there you go. There's kind of your news of the day when it comes to Cowboy Land and what they might do. Will they trade up? No.
You don't think so?
No. I think it's
Do all the mocks agree?
No, they
Still?
don't. Traeger
Okay.
has them trading up.
Okay.
But it's just one of those things where it's just, I think you're putting 2 and 2 together, and I don't think you're going off the history. The history is them not doing that. Alrighty. Wacky Guest Wednesday on deck here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
It's Wacky Guest Wednesday. Middays with Matt. Who is our guest? We don't know. It could be anybody. It could be an actress. It could be a singer. Could be your mom. Let's go. They're in the green room. Who's our guest? We don't know. They're all booked up and they're ready to go.
Wacky Guest Wednesday is live
interesting.
and
Don't
rolling.
screw this up.
Josh Hodson.
You made this. You don't know when it's over?
Who is our guest?
I don't. I kind of backloaded them. I want to get through it. It's going to be bad. It always will be bad. That's the best I can do. Live with it. Who are we living with today? Who is on our show with Wacky Guest Wednesday?
We are living with a pillar of this community.
Oh,
yeah. So you better come correct.
Shoot.
This person is the play-by-play voice for our beloved Omaha Storm Chasers. It's Nick Batters coming to us live via Toledo.
Oh,
right?
Nick?
I am actually at the Warner Park press box right now. We're broadcasting these games remotely. But if you want,
I couldn't tell.
I do have I would like to give credit to the AV guy in Toledo, Jonathan. He got me a feed of their field mics. So I could put that on right now, put it on speakers in the broadcast booth to make it sound like I'm sitting in the stands at Fifth Third Field right now, but I don't want to overcomplicate.
Nick, can we hear what it would hear like? Can we hear that?
Let's see. I don't have it set up right now. But,
Nick, come on. Are you
yeah,
kidding?
I know. That's on me.
How are you, my
Actually,
friend?
You know what?
Oh, wait.
I'm doing well.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say wonder if I see they don't have, so that they set up a whole thing in OBS where I can get a multi-view of their stadium in addition to the live map sound feed, which is awesome, but they haven't turned it on yet today.
Okay,
so my apologies.
That's fine.
Game is 4.5 hours away, so we have a little bit of time.
Good to know. Nick, how are you? We met at the College World Series last year. It was phenomenal to talk with you.
Yeah.
It was a great conversation. How is it's almost been a year since the last time we've talked. How are you doing? How's the season going for you?
Oh my goodness, this season has been a treat. This is year 4 for me with the Storm Chasers. Last year's Storm Chasers team was fun because we had the notable vets, like we had a point where Rich Hill, Dallas Keuchel, Michael Fulmer were all on the team. Kevin Biggio was there. I mean, we had Carter Jensen, Jack Caglione. It was a lot of familiar names. And this year is a fun mix of vets that are they're not the Rich Hill, Jack Caglione notables, but having guys with Major League Service time, like we had Elias Diaz, Luke Maley's back. Brandon Drury won a Silver Slugger. He has 8 years of service time.
Yeah.
Kevin Newman was a Gold Glove finalist. He has 7 years of service time. Aaron Sanchez is in our rotation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun names and just a really good mix. So for me, the season's been going well.
That's great. It's great to hear. So you're at Warner Park right now. You got a game. So it's today the first game of the series between it's the Mud Hens, right? Am I?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
They announced them at Fifth Third Field as the world famous Toledo Mud Hens.
Oh, okay. We gotta add that to the Storm Chasers, the world famous Storm Chasers.
I think so. Yeah. But no, we played yesterday. We had about an hour and a half rain delay before yesterday's game got going. They put the tarp on right before first pitch.
Okay.
And then the Storm Chasers came out, hit a season high 6 home runs. It was good. A little weird. Tyler Gentry.
Okay.
He was with Omaha basically every day for the last 3 seasons. Royals released him at the end of spring training. He signed with the Tigers a week ago. And I don't know if he forgot what uniform he was wearing, but he was the only Toledo player that hit a home run yesterday.
Oh, that's funny. That's yeah, go ahead.
He didn't have a Mud Hens headshot yet. So if you go look at the scoring summary from the game on the MILB game day, it shows John Rafe hit a home run. He's wearing a Storm Chasers uniform, and then Tyler Gentry hit a home run, and he's still in a Storm Chasers uniform. But it was a 3-run home run for Toledo, unfortunately. But That's all to say Omaha won, so life is good.
What has been the biggest surprise for you this season with the Omaha Storm Chasers? What's something that might have happened in these first 21 games where you guys are 12-9 that maybe you didn't anticipate? And what are some of the storylines that people here locally should be looking out for, Mr. Batters?
Look, I really like to keep things positive. That I'm a positive guy. It annoys me. It's my biggest fault sometimes. But admittedly, the thing that has surprised me the most has been where the starting pitching has ended up. If you were to look at the beginning of the season and say, what is the Omaha Storm Chasers rotation supposed to be like for 2026? You're thinking it's loaded with 40-man roster guys. You have Ryan Berger, you have Ben Kurtna, Stephen Kolick, Mitch Spence. And then you add in a veteran like Aaron Sanchez, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a rotation that's better than some major league teams.
Sure.
But Ben Kurtna's on the injured list. Ryan Berger's on the injured list. Aaron Sanchez has had some struggles. Mitch Spence has only made one start, and today's the 22nd game of the season because he was up in the big leagues for a little while. And Stephen Kolick got hurt early in spring training. So the starting pitching hasn't quite been there. We've only had one start that was 5 innings. But the bullpen has been really solid. Eric Sarantola, he's been lights out. This is a guy who was good, not great the last couple of years for Omaha. He was added to the Royals 40-man roster before the 2025 season. And again, he was good, not great the last couple of years. Spent all of last year on the 40-man roster, doesn't get called up to the big leagues. And he's been great to start the year. He has 8 scoreless appearances, 9 1/3 innings. He hasn't allowed a run. He leads minor league baseball in saves. He has 5 saves, which ties Omaha's saves leader from last year already. So,
wow.
While the starting pitching hasn't quite been where you want it to be, the bullpen has been strong. I also think this is the best defensive team in minor league baseball. I mean, again, you have a bunch of vets. I mentioned Drury and Newman. Connor Kaiser is a fantastic defensive shortstop. Josh Rojas and Abraham Toro have been around for a while. So this is Omaha's top 5 of the minors in fielding percentage, and as of right now has turned the second most double plays of any minor league team. So it's really played defensively. Bats have been a little slow, but the 6 home runs yesterday were a sign that the team's headed in the right direction, I think.
You know, Nick, as the play-by-play announcer of really any team, right, you kind of get some unprecedented access that other media members and fans obviously can't get. You're in and around the team a lot. And, you know, this is your 4th season with the Omaha Storm Chasers. And in your first season, the Kansas City Royals lost 106 games, right? And then the season after, they end up making the playoffs, end up going to 4 games in the ALDS last year, you know, kind of an average year. And then now they're 8-16, a tough start to the season for the Royals. From your perspective, being in and around the team, are vibes different in a AAA dugout or a AAA clubhouse dependent a little bit on what the major league team is doing? Because, you know, when you're in the AAA, when you're playing in AAA and the team is really, really great up in the big leagues, there's probably a lower percentage chance that you're going to get called up. Do you think things get a little riled up a little bit in the AAA dugout when guys are like, oh my God, like, because the team may not be playing great in the big leagues, I have a really good opportunity to get called up soon. Is there kind of a difference in the vibe of the clubhouse depending on what the major league team might be doing, or is it kind of just always business as usual from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think the vibe in the clubhouse and the dugout has been different each year that I've been here. Now, part of that is that the Storm Chasers as a team have had 3, now I call it 4, remarkably different seasons.
Sure.
But with that, the Royals have also had 4 very unique and different seasons. And it's not often like this, but there have been some similarities, right? Like the Royals lost 100 games in 2023, and the Storm Chasers were one of the worst AAA teams that year. 2024, Omaha wins the International League Championship. Royals go to the playoffs, so there was success there. Again, last year was a down season for Omaha, and the Royals had a fine season. It's interesting. When I think back to 2024, what I think of is how remarkably healthy the Royals were that year, right? Like there were so few starting pitchers used. There was not a ton of roster movement between AAA and the major leagues. And so what we saw is there were a lot of guys down in Omaha that it did not matter what they did. There just wasn't going to be space in the major leagues. Now I'm thinking of like a Drew Waters, Nick Prado, Nate Eaton, these guys that had big league time. I mean, even a John Rava, Cam Devaney, who was on the cusp of the big leagues.
Yeah.
And with how well the major league team was playing in Kansas City and how healthy they were, it really didn't matter what happened statistically in Omaha. Those players, there just wasn't going to be room for them in the major leagues. And so, yes, there was an exciting vibe of the Royals are winning. But at the same time, everyone was so present and, okay, I'm here in Omaha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's try and win this thing.
Sure.
And
sure.
From May through the end of the season of 2024, the Storm Chasers were just about the best team in minor league baseball. And with there being so little roster movement, the group was able to gel really well, right? Because it was the same group all year long. And I think that's the biggest thing that sets the vibe in a clubhouse or dugout is the roster movement. When you're moving guys up and down all season, it's just tough to gel as a team when it's not the same team week to week, right? So I think it's less the major league team success or the success of the AAA team, but it's just how long the same group has been together kind of dictates how team-like they can be, if that makes sense.
You know, it's for your job, right? You always got to be kind of aware of what the Kansas City Royal pipeline is looking like, right? Because at any moment, some of these guys who are in their top 30 could end up being an Omaha Storm Chaser. And, you know, you're a professional and you know when these guys come up, you got to be ready and on your heels. But you're looking at the Kansas City Royal pipeline. Their top 5 prospects are either an A or high A right now. Do you expect anybody like a Blake Mitchell or Chorio or Shields or anyone kind of in that top echelon of the Kansas City Royals pipeline right now to make it up to Omaha? Or do you think it could be a very interesting next couple of seasons to see some of these guys work their way through the big league system?
It's a fair question. Yeah. If you look at the Royals top 30 in MLB pipeline right now, you're going to have to get down to the number 8 spot to find someone who is above single A. And that's Loinder Avila, who's been between Kansas City and the big leagues, or Kansas City and AAA. So I think it's the names that I'm looking for are the mid-tier prospects that I think are still worth getting excited about, even if they're not it's not the former first round picks necessarily. But you look at a guy like Carson Rockefeller, who has played Gold Glove defense in center field. I mean, he's been the Royals minor league defensive player of the year the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And he leads the minor league system, the Royals minor league system in home runs right now. And he has 5 homers this year. And he's down in Double A, so he's on the cusp of getting up to the big leagues. Steven Zobac's on the injured list for Double A Northwest Arkansas. He was added to the 40-man roster in the offseason. You get a guy like Drew Beam, who we saw during the College World Series a couple of years ago. He's in Double A. Felix Arande had maybe the best season outside of David Shields of a Royals minor league pitcher last year. He's in Double A. Dennis Colleran Jr., he had a really good spring training. He was a non-roster invite for the Royals, and he's tickling triple digits with his fastball. So that's a bullpen arm that could very well be in Kansas City by the end of the year. Frank Mazzucato, former first-round pick. Look, the numbers haven't necessarily jumped off the page, but if we're talking about first-round picks to possibly be in Omaha soon, Mazzucato's a guy to keep an eye on. So it isn't you're not going to find a Royals minor league broadcaster that's going to beat the drum for Kendry Chorio quite like myself, but
sure,
it's that's the name that I'm excited about. But guys like him and David Shields are still probably a couple years away.
Hey, looking at the promotional schedule, I mean, a lot of great things are going to be happening at Warner Park here in the next couple of weeks, right? We got the Star Wars night coming up on May 1st. We got halfway to Halloween on the 3rd. There's a lot of, every Thursday you got the $3 beers and so on and so forth. And you got Runs the Night right at the end of next month. Is there any promotion, you, Nicholas Batters, the play-by-play voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, where you're looking forward to? You're looking forward to what the night is going to look like in the ballpark. Any promotion that stands out to you?
There is. And it was, I don't think we posted about it on social media until yesterday. Did you guys see that we're doing nothing but baseball night?
Yes.
Tuesday, May the 12th.
Yes.
So this is, I want to be careful. I don't want to take too much credit for this, but this was an idea that I was just kind of softly pushing over the last few off seasons that is kind of getting trialed this year. I haven't been in the meetings for exactly what it'll look like, but it is basically what it sounds like. It is a baseball game. We're not going to have on-field promotions, no ad reads.
Whoa.
Videos on the video board. It's a baseball game. Maybe some organ music.
You got to have the organ. You got to have the organ.
So,
you can't eliminate the organ. The organ is baseball.
Yeah. So if there are any organists interested in playing at Warner Park, our DMs are open. I don't want to volunteer that on behalf of our promotion staff. I don't know what their budget
I'll
is
volunteer
tonight.
it, Nicholas Batters. I think we need to find an organist for Nothing But Baseball Nice. I'm a brave man. Marty's listening to this. I know Marty's listening to this.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Hey,
now.
Marty, get an organist, all right? On behalf of Matt McMaster and Nick Batters. We need an organist for Nothing But Baseball Night. There you go. Perfect. Got it done.
You guys are the best. No,
exactly.
That's the promotion that I'm most excited for coming up. Obviously, like you said, we get down to this season. Star Wars Night's next homestand runs the night hockey jersey is a good looking one.
Oh yeah.
And even like our bobbleheads, I probably take the design of the bobbleheads a little too seriously. Like we have Jack Caglione and Noah Cameron bobbleheads this year.
Yeah.
And credit to our promotions manager, Katie Scott. She's put up with a lot of my nonsense, but we get the molds back, right? Of the Noah Cameron and Jack Caglione bobbleheads. And I'm looking at like, I don't think the nose is right. Can we fix Jack's nose? I think it's a little wider, or his thighs aren't big enough because Jack has the biggest quads I've ever seen. And I didn't think the bobblehead was doing him justice. So these are the kind of things that we're looking at to try and make the bobbleheads look as realistic as possible.
Nick, you're a sicko, and I absolutely love it. That is incredible. Continue to be the gatekeeper of bobbleheads. We need that. We need someone like you who takes that thing seriously. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate the work that you do at the Omaha Storm Chasers. You're a young gun, young stud. Appreciate you coming on. We look forward to having you on in the future as well, my man.
Matt, Josh, you guys are the best. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you for having me on.
Appreciate you. Nick Batters, my apologies. The Omaha Storm Chasers play-by-play voice. I should have seen this one coming because Marty texted me this morning.
Oh yeah,
he texted me. We're gonna have Marty on in the future. We should probably.
It should be a regular thing. With
you
Marty.
know what? Can we have an off-air meeting right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, 1 second, guys. So I went to the airport, and
why you flying somewhere?
No, I went. This was when I was going back to Chicago, one of my like 18 Chicago trips. And so anyway, like I went, and all of a sudden I hear this, man. Like, someone recognize me?
Make him sound like a yappy dog.
Is there someone who recognized me? Matt, and I'm like, and I'm looking around, and
TMZ,
and then I like looked down. Oh, Marty, and he had already
looked down.
Well, I'm taller than him. So then I see Marty. No, you close your eyes when you get mad.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So anyway, I was like, Marty, and we started talking, and he was like trying to introduce me to everybody, but it was boarding group 5. Okay. And I was like, I got to go, Marty. I got to go to my plane. I'm going to miss my plane. So we were talking, and Marty was like, hey, maybe we should do like a promote, every single, at the beginning of every month, he comes on and we talk about Storm Chasers promotional events and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like, maybe he brings us good. He said, we can keep it, And so it's just like, hell yeah. And I go, great.
Trash bag
and
full of popcorn.
I put it down on my notes, and then I never told you about it. I was like, I need to tell Josh that we should do this, monthly thing with Marty.
Yeah.
And then like he texted me today, and I was like, oh yeah, I got to remind Josh that we should have Marty on at the beginning of every month.
Good get mad.
Exactly. And then you just brought it up right now before we had this off-air meeting that like that's something we should do.
We should do that.
All right, we're gonna do it.
And then yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We'll announce it next week though.
Okay.
That Marty Cordero is gonna come on at the beginning of every month. We'll do something with the Storm Chasers.
We'll do it
All right?
big.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Good meeting.
Great. All right.
Adjourn.
3, 2, 1. All right, we're back. That was a good one. We cannot wait to tell you what we have coming up for you.
Wow, big things brewing.
It's been one of our more productive meetings. We got a big announcement coming Monday. We're gonna have somebody come on a little bit regularly. The last time we did an interview with this guy, it lasted like 28 minutes, and a lot of people were like, "That was great stuff." And Josh and I went back and we were like, "Did we go too long?" And we were like, "Doesn't matter if we go too long if it's good."
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
So this guy's gonna come on once a month. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we are going to have a great time. So stick around. All right, all the way to next week. And then we'll tell you who's going to be coming out once a month. It's going to be, maybe it's somebody related to Nick Batters. Whoa. Little hint. We actually had a lot of Omaha Storm Chaser flavor here over the last couple of months. We've had Nick on. We've had Eisenberg on. Jake's been announcing on TV the last couple of days. Did the Baltimore game.
Oh, there's going to be, in a couple years, you're going to blink and go, whoa, they had regular access to Jake Eisenberg?
Seriously.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, Nick Batters is up in Kansas City. You're like, oh my God, is that Matt McMaster on TNT? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How the hell did that jokester get there? That guy was an idiot in Omaha. I couldn't stand listening to him.
He's telling PK Subban he's an idiot.
I mean, talk about failing upwards. I mean, Matt McMaster.
Some people do.
Some people do it really well. And you know what? Chris Sims, mazel tov.
Oh,
I mean, mazel tov to you, my man. Nepo baby. Whoa!
Who said Nepo baby?
That's so rude, Jack Collinsworth. Get Gianna Girardi's name out of your mouth. You don't talk about her.
I forgot about that one.
That was a new one.
Yeah.
We should have a Nepo baby list. That would really piss some people off.
That would. I'm thinking about it.
Can we do the Krasinski real quick?
Yeah. You're good to go.
No. Look at the Nepo baby list. Maybe. Coming up next, we're going to talk about somebody who's not a Nepo baby.
Not a Nepo baby. Okay.
She's a stud. She is a superstar. When you got people walking around with a jersey that's got two different last names on it and everybody knows who's who and how big of a stud they are, that's how you know you're a superstar.
Okay.
I noticed something yesterday with Jordy Frahm. That I've only noticed with a few other athletes in my time. And it's quite remarkable. We're going to talk about what that thing is coming up next here on 1620, The Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Had a lot of reactions, been a lot of articles, and a lot of discussion to be had about Matt Rhule's appearance yesterday that he made with our friends Ravi and Damon on Heard at Sports Live. Long conversation that kind of touched a lot of points.
Streets is talking.
Streets are definitely talking. A warning, if you will, to Matt Rhule, whether or not it's fair. There's been some conversation on Twitter, and it really stems from Matt Campbell, that Amarian Jackson, the former corner for Millard South, who was originally committed to Iowa State and then flipped his commitment to Penn State to go ahead and follow Mr. Matt Campbell from Ames all the way to Penn State. He's a wide receiver, actually. My apologies. But anyway, he's going to be starting as a true freshman, potentially. He's going to be playing, making an impact as a true freshman. Whether or not it's fair, I think we're going to have to really keep an eye on the class of 2025 and the in-state recruiting. And I think that's going to be something that people potentially really hold against Matt Rhule is they let a lot of in-state recruits go to other places, go to other Power 5 schools. And once those players start having success, and if they start having some success, when it comes to playing at the Power 5 level, whether or not it's fair, it's a warning sign that it's definitely going to be something that people are going to get upset about. It's one of those things, though, where it's like, if you take care of what you're supposed to take care of, people, like, we tend not to freak out about all the other things. Like, for example, like this whole stadium project. And I think there's obviously like the sticker shock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we're like, oh, $600 million. And then we immediately are like, oh, they only went 7. They've gone 7-6 in the last 2 years. And like everybody flips out about that. And it's almost as if like if the team had gone 8-4, if they just had gotten what they needed to get done and they reached expectations, or if Nebraska, if their wins were coming on the field, I don't think there would be as a visceral reaction to those types of things, right? And in my opinion, there shouldn't be a visceral reaction to the stadium project based on what's been done on the field because it's two separate issues. Memorial Stadium literally has $200 million worth of maintenance, okay? Somebody who's sat in the South Stadium as a student, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun. My back hurts. The seats are uncomfortable. It's a pain in the ass.
Interesting.
Doing anything. Like it's not a good time to sit in the South Stadium. And I think people who are sitting in the South Stadium are probably pretty happy that all this stuff is going to be happening and they're going to have a more comfortable and better football experience. But because because the things that are supposed to be being done, in our opinion, on the field aren't being done on the field, we have that cloud the judgment of other things. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, Matt Rhule didn't really recruit very heavily in state in 2025. And if Nebraska is not playing up to their potential, if they're not winning games and those players are playing well, a lot of people are going to get upset about that. And, you know, whether or not Rhule cares, it's still going to be there. And it's just one of those things where at the end of the day, if you just win it, none of that crap matters. Nebraska just wins. I don't think anybody really freaks out if the guys that people thought you should have recruited are playing well. Because what matters is who's playing well in the Scarlet and the Cream, and they definitely need to find more guys who do that. But I don't think I will always say this about Rhule and always say this about what's going on in that athletic department. The things that aren't happening that you think should be happening is not because of a lack of effort. Like I don't think that's the case at all. Like they are putting in the work and they're doing what they think is right and what they think they need to do in order to get things done. They've just been, they've been caught on some bad decisions, man. They've been caught on it was a bad decision to bring in Jeff Sims. It did not work out. They could not develop him the way that they needed to. Was it a bad decision to bring in Dylan? No, not at all. How do you say no? How do you say no to bringing in Dylan Rhule? There's not a conversation to be had there. It's just they failed to develop him. And is there a now knowing more about that whole situation, is there kind of a two-way street between the development of Dylan compared to what the staff could have done and what Dylan could have done? Absolutely. And there's a two-way street to everything. But I think that, you see all these stories and a lot of these Nebraska outlets being like, whoa, a Marion Jackson for Penn State, like you could make an impact right away. Look, that's an in-state guy that Nebraska let go. And that was a big storyline back when all of that was happening and all of those kids were committing elsewhere. It was a big storyline as to why didn't Matt Rhule recruit him? Well, whether or not it's fair, if Nebraska doesn't have their affairs in order and people and those guys end up playing well, people are going to get upset about it. We'll go to Jim on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 429511620. Jim wants to talk about the stadium. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Matt. I just have a comment. You're talking about the stadiums. Kansas has redid their stadium, and they've been a losing program for we don't know how long. I can't remember. Most of my lifetime.
Yeah.
Which is really long. So I know it's going to be expensive, but if it was my choice, but I'm old, so it won't bother me. I would just build a new stadium because that thing is. I've been in a stadium that was the most uncomfortable time. I was up in the East Stadium and up there by the scoreboards, and I have my son with me. He stands most of the time on the ground sitting because there wasn't enough room for our asses to be in those things. That's all I got.
Appreciate you, Jim. Thank you so much. Look, I mean, I will continue to say this. It's just two separate problems, two separate issues of everybody being like, why can't they, take the money they put in the stadium, put in the roster? It's two completely different investments with two completely different investors. They're separated from one another. And, it was funny. I was listening to Happer and Schaefer today, and Sam McEwen was on, and he was explaining the process into like getting NIL money to players. And the way that Sam described it sounded like money laundering, which was really funny. Sam was like, you got to funnel it to a corporation, and then the corporation's got to get it to a player, and the player has then got to get that money approved by the CSC, which then that just sounds like you got to take the dirty money and mix it with the clean money, and then you put it in your bank account, and hopefully the IRS doesn't give a damn.
I mean,
that's what it sounds like.
Not wrong.
The stadium needs to get fixed. And now John texted this. He goes, how would it not be fair to call out Rhule for even not offering in-state players that go somewhere else and have great success? It's just another thing that shows that Rhule is not great at his job. I'm not commenting on whether or not it's fair, okay? Because I'm not going to comment on whether or not it's hypothetical is fair, okay? But I'm just saying that it will come. If it happens, it will come, and people will be very, very upset about it. And I think there's a difference between having roster limits and being like, hey, we have a lot of players on this roster and we're not able to offer all of these guys and recruit all these guys. And then there's a difference in just failing in your evaluations. And I think, you can balance those two things out. Real quick, I went to the Omaha, Nebraska softball game yesterday. I've seen superstars play in stadiums and play in fields before. I'll never forget going to Chicago Blackhawks games. And every time Patrick Kane would get the puck, the greatest American hockey player of all time would get the puck, there would be like a buzz. You could hear people like gasping in the building because Patty Kane's got the puck and you didn't know what he was going to do with it. When Javi Baez was at the peak of his powers with the Chicago Cubs and a ground ball went to the shortstop, there was almost like an excitement of like, oh my God, what is Javi going to do? I hadn't experienced that in quite a while until I saw Jordy Frahm play softball yesterday and seeing all of these, little softball players, these little girls just enamored and infatuated and just excited to see her play. And, when she got up to bat, there was a buzz of like, oh, Jordy's up. Jordy's about to swing the bat. What is Jordy going to do? And I was actually standing next to this little girl and her father, and every time Jordy would go up, she would light up. She would get so excited, and it was just remarkable to see, just how much an athlete like that means to people. But then on top of that, women's sports is growing. Women's sports is exploding. And we've seen the increase in popularity in women's basketball. We've seen the increase in popularity in women's volleyball. And to see, how one female Nebraska athlete just inspiring just a herd of young girls, young athletes, and just feeling that buzz. It's one thing to feel that buzz in an NFL stadium. It's one thing to feel that buzz in an NHL hockey rink. It's one thing to feel that buzz maybe in a college football game. But to go to a college softball game and feel that, I think it just speaks to how big of a deal Jordy is, how good Jordy is, and how just I would say just how much she means to so many. And we talk about like this with the Nebraska football all the time, like breeding the next generation of fans. Like, how do you do it? You don't do it with losing. How do you breed the next generation of great women athletes here in Nebraska? You do it by paying attention and showcasing great women's athletes who wear, whether it be blue and white, whether it be black and red, or whether it be scarlet and cream. And so it was really cool yesterday to be at a record-setting attendance game at Connie Clausen Field with over 2,000 people watching Nebraska softball play a good Omaha softball team. That was fun. All right, Josh Hodson, we wrap up the show. Coming up next, you tell us what to watch, and I give you your dog of the day here on Middays with Matt. I want to play chess so badly.
In a few minutes, well, I guess about 30,
No, you can do
45, you'll be able
no.
to.
I can play chess when I'm supposed to be doing my job.
Okay.
Josh Hodson, what are we watching tonight?
We're gonna watch a pair of NBA playoff games, I think, on ESPN.
What do you mean you think? Is there a potential that one of them is not happening?
Oh no!
Is there going to be a rain delay?
I just don't know why I would tune into either of these. Magic Pistons at 6 o'clock on ESPN.
Nothing.
Orlando does lead that series 1-0.
Who gentlemen sweep.
Yeah. Suns Thunder 8:30. Thunder lead that series 1-0.
Sorry, my stomach just got queasy.
A trio of NHL playoff games tonight.
All right, here it is.
Penguins Flyers at 6 on TNT. Philly leads that series 2-0.
The Flyers have looked hot those 2 games against Pittsburgh.
I'm hearing this.
Yes, you are.
On TNT, that is followed by a decisive, well, not a decisive, it's game 3 in a series that is tied at 1 between the Stars and the Wild. And then at 9 o'clock on TBS, very funny, Ducks Oilers. Oilers lead that 1-0. MLB, Astros Guardians on right now on MLB Network. Yanks and Sox at 5:45 on MLB Network. And then at 8:45, it's Dodgers Giants out west, all those on MLB Network. At 6 o'clock right here on 1620 The Zone, you can hear Omaha and Creighton baseball at Tal tonight. Should be good weather for it. Connor Happer flying solo on the call tonight.
Whoa!
Yeah. So good luck to him, I guess. I don't know.
He doesn't need luck.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Come on. You kidding me? He needs luck? He doesn't.
For some reason, the people at Netflix decided America needed a 4-part docuseries on Hulk Hogan. That drops today. Yes, you, Matt, in the back.
You're not going to watch this thing?
I've heard everything this man has to say about everything.
Okay, but have you ever listened to the 15-minute Jim Cornette every lie Hulk Hogan has ever told YouTube's video?
He was the second choice to be the drummer in Metallica or something like that.
Well, no, it's the George Foreman grill was almost the Hogan grill.
It was, yeah.
So it's first of all, is Jim Cornette in the Hulk Hogan docuseries?
I have no idea who the talking heads are.
Okay, I'm watching it. I think you're crazy not to. I'm very excited.
4 parts seems
I'm going
lengthy.
to watch it. It's Hogan. It's Hogan. Come on.
It's Hogan. That's why I'm probably not going to watch it.
Fair enough. That
was my childhood hero, and I'm not going to watch it.
I'm aware, but I just think he is a wildly interesting figure in American sports.
I'll give you that. He's interesting.
And he is I don't want to disparage a man while he's in the grave, but a very questionable human is the best way to describe the nicest.
I don't think they're going to get into that.
You're kidding. You have to get into that.
I don't think they're going to. I think this is a puff piece.
No. Don't make this like if the OJ documentary ended with him winning the Heisman.
I've heard that comparison about the Michael Jackson movie.
Yeah, I know. I stole a tweet there. Okay. I completely stole that tweet. I hope the Hogan thing is not that way at all. If it's a puff piece, I'm not watching it. Just same thing with the Florida Gators, like that being a puff piece. That was ridiculous.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
All right, we're going with the goal scorer tonight. Leon Draisaitl.
Oh, Leon's good for it.
From Cologne, Germany.
Obviously.
Going to score a goal tonight against the Anaheim Ducks.
You
plus
didn't
140.
need to tell me what team he was going to score on. I knew.
Probably good for an assist, too. Let's just say.
Whoa, 2 points?
Oh, can we do that?
Yeah.
Can I bet Leon to have points?
There was a great streak of betting I had that was Connor McDavid over or under 1.5 points. And I'm like, oh, this is easy money.
Draisaitl 2+ points is minus 120.
Okay.
Draisaitl, let's go 3+ points for Leon Draisaitl. We're gonna switch. We're gonna switch the dog of the day. Double dog.
I talked him into it.
Plus 270. Leon Draisaitl plus 3 points tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. USC, the crossover. Coming up next here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.